Never mind me while I'm stepping out my circumference. I feel the nerves trickling down. It's life humbling. My words stutter, stumbling, staggered and caught off guard. This the life of a jigaboo, introverted and scarred. Whoa, my mother been the melodies while they sing the choruses. Direct message from Slade saying we need more of it. Paranoia in my state. I see envy at high rates. Now it's crop off the fate. Turn great so I fly straight. Was gone for a minute. Now I'm back like an X with big factors. I see you turn flat like extinct like some raptors. When I drop through prayer, precision, practice and patience, we move to greener pastures. They're saying life is a matter of mastering basics and mastering patience. More time I get tired of waiting. Maybe it's fate procrastinating. The times are bad, so it really had me sprung. Like she got me doing things that I never do. You thought that we connected when in fact it was trauma bonding. Just leave it up to me to break the rules, never corresponding. My childhood filled with fence climbs and knee scrapes and bikes and kicking it by the street signs. The older I get, I'm trying to lessen any screen time. The bounce back heavy, I rock steady on climb. This world's a fucking loop. The news will pick and choose whatever truth they wanna give to you. I cannot stomach it, so I poop. Oops. When life turns sweeter, the lemon mouths get louder. But I'm amplified with ghosts from God like that boy Fowler. Working like I got that point to prove. But truth be told, the proof is right in the pudding. No point to lose. 60 for the crepes, yeah, I did that just because. She expecting more, girl, you know I'm saving up. Left me on red, well, it was what it was. Never stress over them joints or in downs when times get rough, so I ghost. Long are the days when we was close, and when I see you, it's like two completely different type of goats. I approach the weekly fire dropping, which I'm feeding. Still, I don't expect to be the one. Your boy having bugs. Still, the songs get spun like Beyblades and teacups. My fun fair to those that ever really know me from jump. So what's up, I've been the one they all depended on like TJ. Now they're dead wilder than a furry knockout punch, leaving them straight stunned. It's hella fun. Preseason. Woo! Now you know I'm coming through. When the growth look good on you, best believe they wanna screw now. I've been trying to climb, devil threw me in the dark. Baby, don't be insecure, you can still go make a mark like blow. Could never let them drain my soul now. Blow. Table turning like doorknobs, wow. Blow. I think I'm about to set sail. I'm a walking, living legend, walking with my chest out. Life keep dealing me cards, I keep fitting in love.
I'm out here making rookie mistakes, man. Big up everybody in the building. It's G, and you guys already know what time it is. You know what it is. We're here. We're live in the flesh, live and direct. Just give me a moment, guys. Just wanted to get a few things ready for you. But now, big up everybody who's in the chat. Obviously, you guys watched myself and JJ going through some Liverpool transfer news. Obviously, the usual stuff as per. You know, no real Liverpool news there, if I'm being totally honest with you. And today, I wanted to talk to you guys about the Liverpool defense. Now, the reason why I decided to do a show like this is purely because, look, we're top of the league. We're through to the next round of the Europa League. We're in the next round of the Carabao Cup, obviously semi-final against Fulham. And then obviously we've got the FA Cup coming this weekend as well. We all know during the summer period, you know, everyone talking about the players that we need, the players that we need to sign, and etc., etc., and all that kind of good stuff, you know. And I thought to myself, we've now reached the halfway stage. Obviously, I think we played our 20th game against Newcastle on New Year's Day. Obviously, we got that victory. Everybody spoke about it. I apologize. I never did my match reaction, but I didn't really need to. Everyone else kind of spoke on the game and on the result, etc., etc. And I just felt like we need to have a conversation now, not necessarily the type of conversations that I usually have in terms of like, yeah, we need to talk potentially or specifically about, you know, this guy because he's doing shit, or do we need to sell this one and that one, and, you know, etc., etc. Just more conversation in regards to the actual team in itself. And I want you guys in the chat. And big up everybody who's obviously already in here. Big up Ends. Obviously, he's in the back. I'll get him in a sec. Big up Keep It Level. Big up Stephen. Big up Gary. Big up Red for Life in the damn building. Like, I think we all need to... I don't want to say calm it down, because I don't want to tell anybody what they should and shouldn't do. At the end of the day, feel how you want to feel, but more just in regards to, how do you guys feel about the Liverpool defense, and only defense? Now, I'm going to do 3 shows. So today we're doing the defense, tomorrow we're going to do the midfield, and I believe on Saturday afternoon/evening times we'll have a look at the attack. Now, I wanted to talk about all 3 of those sections because we all have a lot to say about each and every single section. Obviously, we'll take a look at individual players and etc., you know, all of that kind of good stuff. But just in a general sense, we all have a thing about each and every single section of this Liverpool team. But as I mentioned before, a moment ago, we're top of the league. We're through to the next round of the Europa League. We're through to the next round of the Carabao Cup. We're obviously in the FA Cup this weekend. Hopefully we can get through against Arsenal. So are we, and I'm going to include myself because I'm not exempt, are we just moaning for moaning's sake? Is this just a situation where it's like, hey, we just want something to talk about. We want everything to be perfect. We feel that because of Manchester City and all these other, you know, caveats, that we just want something to kind of moan about? Or is the team really better than most of us, and I've got my guest here in the back, he'll probably say different, and he has been saying differently as well, you know, since the beginning of the season. But are we all just sitting here, you know, at a point where it's now like, we just got to kind of take the team as it is right now? There isn't really much else to necessarily say, you know. So maybe, and this is new for me, guys, it's 2024. I am trying to change, you know, I am trying to look at things a lot differently. But is it now time to maybe look at the positives, you know, so to speak, you know, with Liverpool? But on that note, let me bring in my first guest.
Yo,
big
bro,
up, Ben.
Big up, bro. Hey,
How are you, bro? How are you?
Good. Apologies, I'm late. I'm 5 minutes late anyway, bro.
No, that's all.
Nah, just listening to the way you were just speaking, man. Bro, it's cold. Listen, it's cold, man. Zenji and that in the building, bro. Ladies and gentlemen, big up to the chat as well. Make sure you guys are liking and subscribing to the show.
No,
bro.
That's all good, bro.
Yesterday, right? I was thinking, yeah, I did say that obviously me and Savage and the rest of the man them were saying, no, I think we can challenge, man. We could win this title. We've got a good enough team. If we just play even, you know, 70-80% to our natural abilities, man, we should be able to beat the rest of these teams in the league. But then I was thinking, I was like, bro, why is everyone just moaning? At the start of the season, I was like, why is everyone moaning, bro? Like, we've got a good team. But then obviously I'm realizing, obviously, their emotions stem from the back of last season. Maybe at the start, not the end part, because the end part we started playing really well. But the first bit with the Hendo, and he was not running, and Fab wasn't running and losing the ball in silly positions, and Mo was still getting the numbers, but his performances weren't that great. Virgil wasn't great. Ibu and Gomez and Matip, they weren't that great either. They were getting injured all the time. Robbo was, you know, he was wishy-washy at times as well. Trent, we know that first half of the season, this man could not be bothered at all. And then you had Mo with the numbers and Alisson trying his hardest, you know, to try and keep us even in the league at one point. But then at the back end of the season, I'm like, nah, man, Trent started playing better. Virgil was showing a bit of inkling that he's about. You know, we added a bit of energy around Fab. We slightly tweaked the midfield, and, you know, we started getting a bit of joy there. You know, Trent doing it inverted, added a bit of legs around Fab and Hendo and stuff like that. And then obviously we had Gakpo. He started doing the bits and pieces. Diaz was, you know, starting to turn up. And then Curtis Jones, shout out to him. He started like showing us what he's about in the back end. So I'm looking at the back end of that going, surely if we add some ballers to this, bro, we can go and mash up this league.
Yeah.
I saw where everyone's coming from. And then when we started adding like the McAllisters, we added Gravenberch, we added Wataru, we added Szoboszlai. In my mind, I'm like, bro, we can cook this, bro. I know they're new players, but they're good enough players. They're not Premier League proven yet, but they're good enough. Apart from like obviously McAllister, we know played in the Prem. Other than that, bro, we have some players, man. We have some ballers. And then the more we carried on and we're winning games and we're looking a bit more resilient, we're looking a bit more, we're grafting, we're looking a bit more hungry. And I'm seeing Virgil playing how he's playing, and I'm like, why is people saying Virgil ain't back, bro? This man is, because I'm watching him. I'm watching all the players that man them said was dead last season. I'm watching Virgil. I'm watching Gomez. I'm watching Trent. Who else was in? We saw the other man them that was shit, so I can't even watch them. Do you know, I'm watching all of these man, the Nunez's. I'm watching all of these man that man them said they were shit. And I'm like, well, Virgil, no one, bro. He's just bullying everyone, bro. What's that? Why is everyone having an issue? Now I'm seeing Trent doing the inverted, trim their hair, chest. You know, the pecs are now out, bro. This man's walking around like he's the show and that. Mr. Entertainment. Then I'm watching the passes, I'm watching the assists, I'm watching the goals, and I'm watching like Szoboszlai, how he started, Curtis, the way he's playing, Gravenberch come in, and like, ooh, little inklings of what he can do. McAllister in the six. I'm like, bro, what does everyone else want? I'm looking at attack. You got Lucho, you got Nunes in there, you got Mo in there, you got Jota in there. Matip is back to his best as well at this point. Alisson's just doing what Alisson does. So with all of those great stuff there, and I'm looking at Robbo is there as well. I'm looking at the bench going, well, if we change it, if we're not winning the game, bro, there's man that can come on and change it. So I didn't understand where everyone was like doubting our team, bro. I couldn't understand it. We've got better ballers than what we had last season. Our tactics say they can be better, but what you can't knock them for, they're creating a hell of a lot more chances than the last one did last year. They're creating way more chances. We're just not clinical enough. If these men can just get a bit more fucking clinical, yeah, this front line will be a problem still. It's a problem now based on just your movement, your running, your power, just, you know, doing all the other stuff. And then Mo normally finishes it off. Everyone's chipped in to an extent. But if they can get mad clinical and get that fluidity and the chemistry right, yeah, the midfield is sorted, bro. And, you know, people don't like the name Thiago and that, but he's taboo. He's still to come into this midfield as well, bro, into the team, just in training. Because once he steps into training, there's a difference with having the name there, and there's a difference when you're training with a guy and then you're picking up little things he's doing that could improve Gravenberch, improve Curtis even more, improve even McAllister. They're all still young, impressionable ballers, so they still look at him and go, I know he's the guy now. He's like, oh, he's won all the trophies and done what he needed to do. But there's things that he can teach them that we can take into games. Look how quickly Besetic fucking improved. That did that weren't just because of the coaching. It was the because of the mentorship of Thiago helping him out. So listen, man, the team is good, man. Look, we got some mad injuries now at the moment, which is crazy. Still, we're just dropping like flies, but we're top. We're in the knockout. As I keep saying, we're in the semi-finals. We got Arsenal on Sunday, bro. If we win that, we move on. Sorry for rambling on so much, but
no. Listen, man, like it's like I said in the intro, like, are we just moaning for moaning's sake? And it kind of moves on to the kind of first topic I wanted to kind of dive into, which is obviously the preseason worries. So as you kind of mentioned there, you know, you're looking at, obviously, we all know Enz, and we all know, of course, he's someone who I know watches football and looks at things a bit deeper than the average Joe kind of thing, which is obviously why Enz is one of the top guys out there in terms of content creators. And I just think that I almost feel like some people, not everybody, and by the way, I'm also saying this isn't something that everybody needs to do. It doesn't really matter. Watch football however you want to watch football. It's really not that deep at all. That's why we're here. Do you know what I mean? To do all of that thinking for everybody, you know what I mean? But in a general sense, like, we're talking about preseason. We've just come off a season where we finished 5th. We've got Van Dijk, as some people would say, not really been the greatest, you know, so to speak, not been the best kind of season. You've got Trent, not really been the greatest. Obviously, towards the back end, really, really good, but in a general, maybe not as good as he probably should have been. You've got Robbo. I felt like probably was a little bit steady, so to speak, in terms of consistent with his performances, but had some down periods. Gomez, we already know, you know, kind of say. Matip, again, fantastic. Such a good defender, but again, last season weren't his greatest. Konate, I felt he was good last season, but also, you know, had his moments. And then we look towards in the preseason, and you and I both know we did transfer shows. We spoke about, you know, different players, midfield, attack, defense, whatever. Did you feel that kind of energy that at the preseason stage, everybody was kind of like, we definitely need to sign a defender ASAP? Bearing in mind, these are the players that we've got in defense anyway. We still got Virgil. We still got Konate. We still got Gomez. We've still got Robbo. Obviously, he's injured now. But we still got Matip. Obviously, he's injured now. We've still got Trent there. You've still got Tsimikas there. You've got, you know, Quansah there. Obviously, a new addition, which we'll get into in a sec. Yeah, but in pre-season, bar the few, and I do mean few people, and I was not one of those people, taking out Quansah, were you looking at it thinking we need to sign a defender?
Yeah, because I was looking at the injuries and also the underperformance from like Joel and Gomez and Virgil to an extent and Matip. Like the guys that Virgil, that for me, he was just an off-season, bro. He was just all over the place, bro. He was worried. He even said, man, he was still worried about his knee because he played so much games. He was still kind of mentally. And then now he's just like, bro, that's now cleared now. That's why you're seeing a better performance. But the guys that you normally come in and step in, your Matips, your Kanates, you're like, once they step in, okay, we're cool. But when they stepped in last season, you're like, raw, these men are shaky as well. And then you're like, okay, we can rely on at least Joe Gomez to come and give us a decent game if we need. And then he was even shaky. So we had him shaky, Kanate shaky, Matip shaky, and then they were all getting injured. Feel like so only Virgil's here, and Virgil's in his head at the moment. So in my mind, I was like, yeah, we need a centre back. Shout out to like Savage in that, bro, because he was like, no, we got Quansah in that. And I'm like, I get it, bro. He's young, but I'm not. I didn't watch a lot of his games. I'm like, yeah, can he
same
level though? He's like, bro, trust me, he's on it still. Just wait till he gets his opportunity. I'm like, say less, bro. Man stepped in. I'm like, yeah, we don't need a centre back. And then I'm watching I'm watching Matip and I'm watching Kanate. I'm like, oh, so they're back to their level. And then I'm watching Joe Gomez because the level he was at last season. And trust me, bro, I had to fight so many people. You saw, bro, everyone cooking him last season.
Bro, you were fighting me, bro. But like, as in, I still, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no.
I was looking at him like that.
So the level for him to improve into this season, it wasn't a massive jump he needed to do. But the jump he has made this season is massive. He's now become one of the guys everyone relies upon now. It's like, oh, no worries, he can play left back. Oh, he can play centre back. He can play right back. He can do the inverted thing as well. And he's still getting used to that at left back because the last game against Newcastle, you saw he started doing a bit more marauding down there and he started trusting himself more. Where when he first did, he was more timid, more defensive minded. But these men started setting the standards, man, and getting the Quansah in there as well, man, massively helps because when he stepped in, at no point this season, I'm not going to speak for everyone, but I can speak for myself. I can speak for Savage. When he stepped in, we've not gone, shit, man, why are we playing Quansah in there? We've gone, okay, that's about line today. Cool, no problem. They'll go and smoke up whoever they play. And we've seen this man play in the Europa League now. We've seen him play in the Premier League. And you know what I loved about it as well? What's great? We played him against like the Crystal Palace. You know, the teams that thrive on the set piece, crossing the ball in the box. Those are the games I'm like, he's going to be tested. And you want that. The Brentford going to be tested. The Newcastle's when he had to come in when we was down to, was it 10 men? You know, when he tested. What was the last one he played the other day? Burnley as well. He came in. He was going to get tested as well.
He was good in that game.
Really good. So I was like, those are the tests I wanted to see. And he passed them with flying colors, bro. There was no point I go, even the West Ham game he played as well. And I'm like, Jesus, bro, this kid he's too good. But do we need one now? Yes, because of all the injuries, bro. So if that's the question next, do we need one? we got two left backs injured. We got one of the centre backs injured. Obviously, we're expecting one back by the end of the month, but expecting and being back are two different things, bro. So yeah, I think we need to go all out, man, and get someone that can play centre back and can play left back as well, cover if they can do both. And there's one man in mind I'm hoping that we can get.
Who's the one man in mind, bro?
Ignacio, man. I already know, bro. He's my guy, bro.
Now,
we need to get this man in early.
So it's mad that you speak about Ignacio because that's me and Jerry were talking about the little transfer news that or rumors, should I say, in regards to Ignacio. And he's a player. He's definitely a player that I like. I think I'm with Enz. If there's an opportunity to sign someone like him, I feel like you just sign him. The only caveat I think that Jerry had to it, which I kind of agreed, was before the season started. And again, this is why I say only the Savages, Ram, I'll big him up as well, and Jerry, who actually said, nah, he's actually pretty decent. And I was like, you manage to try and shit. Like is. Because again, I can only base it on what I've seen him do at Bristol Rovers, and I only saw 1 or 2 games, and he didn't even light it up. Where I'm like, oh my goodness, he was so sick, and it's Bristol Rovers that I was kind of just like, whatever. Because the emergence of someone like an Ignacio, like a Quansah, do you think signing someone like an Ignacio in this January kind of period, bearing in mind, you guys can see, obviously, you guys can all see the screen. This is I just picked a back four or back five, should I say, of when everyone's fit. Again, sort of, if you want to sort Konate for Matip, doesn't really matter. Just this is the general kind of back five that we'll probably have if everybody was fit. Obviously, we know Robertson's injured, as N said. Tsimikas obviously now injured. We're stuck with now, obviously, Gomez playing at left back when he is the backup kind of right back, meaning we're kind of potentially short. I know Bradley, he can obviously play there, but in terms of quality-wise, we are short in that position. Centre back, I think Matip's obviously injured, so we're left with Quansah, Konate, and Van Dijk. So 3 centre backs to kind of continue for the remainder-ish of the season. If you do sign someone like an Inacio, how are we looking at it? Because do you not think that he would be a player to come in and want to play immediately?
No, because of his age.
Okay.
He's 22.
Okay.
So it's not like he's at the brim of his career at the moment. He's still very young for a centre back. So you're looking at future proof in the future in terms of, you're like, okay, Virgil goes in the next couple of years. That's another young, hungry centre back. You've got Konate, very young centre back. Quansah, very young centre back. Gomez is still in his youth stage prime age. Where is he, like 26 now? 25, 26. So all you're doing is making sure you've got someone that you're like, he's got I don't know what his ceiling will be like. Obviously, he still has to come and play in the Premier League first, get tested, and then you find out who he is. But that's a player you go, at least then we've got one of the best top young talents around in our team. We don't have a left-footed centre-back, so it adds balance as well. And he can play left-back if needs be. If you want to go to a back three, he can play in a back three as well. So it's not a gamble in terms of you just getting someone and other players lose minutes. Matip as well, we don't know if Klopp or the club's going to give him a new deal. So if you go in the next 2-3 seasons, let's go 3 seasons, 4 seasons, depending on how Virgil holds up and how he treats himself and whatever, which he does anyways. He's a top pro, top athlete. But we know we're going to lose Joel. That's gone. So we're down a centre back there anyway. Quansah will probably step in for that one. So Konate will get promoted to the starter. Quansah would then be the backup unless he decides to take one of them out. But you still need another centre back. You still need 4. In my opinion, you need 4. You need 4, so you take 2 out, you put 2 in. Take 2 out, put 2 in. And you can rotate them, mix and match depending on what you need. So I still think we need one. If you get a young player like him, he's got height. Like, I looked at his stats this season, he hasn't been that great in the air, but he's normally good.
Yeah, that's the one thing I see with him is his stats in the air.
Yeah, but to be fair, man, they don't play a lot of long ball in Portugal, to be fair. So when I looked at how many times he contested, it wasn't like a higher number anyway. Where in the Premier League, I'm looking at our centre backs in my head as they've had to win. So I guess if you come in there and then you have to do that week in, week out, I'm sure you will improve. You're young as well, so I can't see you don't learn how to header a damn football or get good at it. But what we do know, he's got a great pass on him, he's got a great shot on him. He can carry the ball, so he's got the dribbling thing. He can fill into different positions as well. He can do the stepping into midfield if you need him to. He's got a decent bit of speed as well. And he's mad young, bro. What else do you need? And the price ain't too bad as well.
No. And again,
go ahead, bro. Give me 2 seconds. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, do you think? And I think everything that Enz is kind of saying in regards to Inacio, it's why I wanted to even just look individually at these set positions in terms of looking at the defense, then looking at the midfield, and then obviously looking at the attack, because Enz just kind of said it there in terms of why he would want, and I'm sure most of you in the chat here, anybody who's going to be watching on the replay, you probably have the same feelings. And I also echo some of what Enz is actually saying in regards to why I feel we still need another defender in this January kind of period. Big up Savage anyway, saying here, Nasser cannot defend better than Quansah, but he can pass like a midfielder. I feel like with the way that football's kind of going anyway, I almost feel like that's going to now just be a prerequisite for centre-backs anyway. Forget full-backs, because they need to do that regardless. But for centre-backs especially, and even more so, left-sided centre-backs. And I think that's where I look at us and I think, yes, Quansah, obviously, in my opinion, looks better in that left-sided centre-back position. But I almost feel that he's put himself in a position now where he's going to be kind of battling for that right-side centre-back slot. And players like Matip, obviously, depending on his contract situations, players like Konate, they're going to be looking over their shoulder because Quansah has been excellent. And again, I don't even mind, holding my hands up and saying, yo, I got this one wrong, because he is actually a solid player. Of course, Still needs a bit more experience. It will be nice to see, you know, if he could potentially. I mean, I don't want to if it means that players are going to be injured, but if he can get like a run of games and stuff like that, amazing. Do you know what I mean? And I think it'll do wonders for his development. But when we're looking here at the defense, obviously you guys can see on the screen, and obviously we go back to, you know, in the preseason, a lot of us were still talking about we do need that extra defender. So if we take away the fact that preseason is now done, we're now in a position where, you know, we're top of the league, we're through to the next round, and all the other things that I mentioned before. Is everybody looking at the situation the same? Even the way that we play football, even I can admit the way that we're even trying to play is a little bit different. Yes, there are some slight similarities. If we take a look here, if I can get this up, perfect. You guys can kind of see this. This is kind of us anyway. I feel like I just picked out a one random game, by the way. This isn't me picking a specific game. I literally just went through the list. I said, boom, this is the first one game. Let me just pick the average positions. But I'm sure most of you know this will be our average positions for most games that we kind of play, which is, you can see here, the back two, effectively, you know, with Virgil back there, Kanate obviously back there. You got your defensive mid, so to speak. Trent's obviously pushed up high. Gomez out there, obviously pushed up high. The front three doing whatever it is the front three like to do, and then that midfield in there. That's kind of our average, or been our average position for most games. So we're still quite similar in our, would I say, setup, but obviously, of course, now we've got players like Trent, where Trent is now doing a completely different role to what he was doing before. Savage has mentioned this. Quite a few other people have mentioned this in regards to Trent Alexander-Arnold. His role within the team, I feel, has now become so pivotal, and it's now so important to what we're trying to do, how we're trying to go about things, and potentially the new way in which Liverpool are trying to play, that now even when we watch us play, and I've got some still clips here, we're still similar in terms of, yes, we like to play a high line. That's never going to change anyway. I've just accepted that. We ain't going to drop this line for shit. It doesn't matter who we've got back there. But you can see here, this is obviously the game against Manchester City. Forget obviously that it's got highlighted, obviously Bernardo Silva. It's just look at the way we're actually set up in this defensive situation. It's kind of been the same. This is the Europa League game. Again, the two centre backs back there by themselves. The player's obviously free. He was offside in this. We know he was. They should have flagged it, but they didn't. But this is kind of our natural setup. In this build-up here, you can see Virgil van Dijk is there by himself. We've got the players on either side, which are now split in order for him to either make that pass, which he probably should have done in hindsight, you know, to, I think that's Robertson on that left-hand side, and I think that's Trent potentially on that right-hand side. But of course, he's played it into McAllister. McAllister's lost the ball. We've then conceded a goal in this kind of situation. I say that to say this. We're still exhibiting the same kind of things in terms of every game. I'm not 100% comfortable in the way that we look aesthetically on the pitch, which is just a me problem. But we're not really conceding goals. I don't know if Enz is there, but we're not conceding goals that much anyway. Sorry, let me not say we're not conceding goals, because we are, but we're not conceding that many goals, obviously, in comparison to the rest of the league. So again, I ask, is it just more of a case of we're just moaning for moaning's sake almost?
It's not, bro. I just feel like but just in general, it feels like we should never concede an opportunity.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's Premier League football. Don't matter how shit the team is, bro. Someone can play a long ball and a guy's really fast, cuts in and crosses the ball, and someone gets close to it. It's Premier League football. We're going to concede chances. The way we play with a high line, but we want to press from using the strikers first. Then, doubling up in the midfield or tripling up, making sure we close off all the passing lanes, win it high, and then we get closer to the goal really quickly and then get a chance and score a goal. But I just feel like we don't expect Liverpool Football Club to concede chances. Every football team concedes a chance in the Premier League. Man City concedes a lot of chances. It's just that teams are so nervous at times they don't take them. And yeah, it could be that against us as well. Yeah, sometimes I'd love us to look a bit more defensively steady, but it's the risk with it, man. It's what Klopp wants to do, bro. Like we tell him, bro, listen, drop the line 5 yards. He's gonna be like, shut up, bro, because we're scoring goals, we're winning games of football. I can't prove to him if we dropped 5 yards back, we would win more games. We've lost 2 games. So imagine you tell him, "Nah, drop the line 5-10 yards back, bro, because we'll look better defensively." He'll be like, "Well, tell me the games then." I'll be like,
No,
"Well,
that's true.
we've only lost 2
No,
games."
that's true.
I can moan about other games. It was like, "Did we lose? No." So I'm like, okay, fair enough. There's nothing else going. I can only point out the things in it, but yeah,
No,
man,
that's
we're
true.
gonna concede chances no matter what we are. You can even play. We played against teams with low blocks in the Premier League where they've sat every man behind it. We still create chances. So
It's true.
if we just accept that we're going to concede them, bro, we'll be fine. I think.
No, and like I said, it's 2024. I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying, I'm trying to think a little bit differently. I allow Liverpool to stress me, you know, way too much. But big up Jerry in the damn building, Mr. Gaffer himself, bro. How are you, man? You good?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. Just yeah, been a bit hectic in the kitchen for it got hot in the kitchen. So I just had to step out for a bit. But
put that pot to the side, bro.
Yeah, big up to everyone in the building. Make sure we're smashing a like as well. Big up to Ends as well.
No. So it's all good. It's all love. So obviously, I'll ask you the same questions that I was just speaking about with Ends. Preseason, obviously, coming off the back of last season, preseason hits. We've got these defenders, obviously, that you can see on the screen. These are the only defenders that we have in terms of senior defenders, not counting the Bradleys, the Becks, and people of that kind of ilk. Coming off the back of that season where we finished 5th, we were poor in terms of a general sense, good towards the back end, but poor in an overall sense. How are you feeling? And did you feel that we needed to sign a defender, whatever position you feel? Did you think we just needed to sign a defender in general?
Yeah, I did, because I think there were a lot of question marks surrounding Virgil van Dijk. I think a lot of people did question, could he get back to the level that he could once be? Was he past his injury? We know about Konate and Matip injury worries as well. They obviously struggle for consistency. Joe Gomez, people were labeling him, including myself, labeling him as Spice, innit? Like, Mitoma, Mr. Mitoma himself. It was Joe Mitoma for a while. I don't know if they got married, double-barreled settings. I'm not too sure, but so he was getting a lot of disrespect. And then obviously I weren't convinced with Robertson or Tsimikas as well. A lot of question marks on Robertson, Trent defensively as well. So when we're speaking from a defensive standpoint, I think there were a lot of question marks. I think just throughout the team, I think we didn't defend well from the front. I don't think the midfield defended well in terms of what Klopp needed in regards to a press. So an obvious kind of assessment, or an easy assessment, would have been, oh yeah, we need to go and sign the defender. I think that's fair to say, man.
No. And big up. And is there like potentially a position in mind that you were looking at, so to speak, or is it just you were good if you signed a left back or a centre back or a right back kind of thing? Or was there something specific?
No, I was looking at a centre back and a right back. Like if I'm being realistic, of course I would have wanted a new left back because I weren't trusting really our left backs that we had. Tsimikas didn't obviously have the greatest season either. Right back was the one where I was like, oh, you know what? We can't keep going on with Trent being targeted in the way that he is. Of course, to the back end of the season, he started inverting, but then obviously the questions that arose from that was, do we need an out right back to put Trent in midfield? Is Gomez good enough? And then a centre back as well. Obviously, we were linked, or there was discussions with the likes of Guardiola and players of that ilk. So, yeah, definitely, it was either centre back and right back were the prominent ones. Left back, of course, there were question marks, but I think we still looked at Tsimikas. We saw that there was depth at left back. At right back, we knew that Ramsey didn't get a sniff last season. Do you know what I mean? And he was this signing that's supposed to push Trent to some regard. He didn't. Do you know what I mean? You got 4 appearances maybe. So yeah, for me, it was definitely centre back and right back.
No. And again, listen, look, I think that's all kind of true. And guys, we all got, we all got to put our hands up. But well, I say all of us. There are some people. Big up Ends. Obviously, he had to shoot out. Guys, make sure obviously you head over there to subscribe to his channel. But Ends, to be honest, there's only really Ends and Savage in terms of people I actually listen to, who were the only ones I know who were saying that Liverpool could win the league this season. Now, you guys have got the wrong uns now. Now that Ends has obviously left the building, you got the wrong uns left in this video, and you guys already know how we felt about Liverpool, about everything to do with Liverpool, manager, players, staff, heck, the dinner lady and all sorts. Like, in terms of how we looked at things, one of the main things that me and Jerry especially, that we talk about is the style of play. Something I even mentioned today. with Liverpool in a general sense. I said, if there will be a downfall from Liverpool, I don't think it will be down to players. I actually just think it will be because of the system that we actually play. I actually think that would be Liverpool's downfall more than anything else. I don't think it will come down to individuality, because I feel like we've got enough individual brilliance. Even when we're playing shit in games, we've got a Salah who can pop up with a goal. You've got a Van Dijk who can do a good clearance or potentially even pop up with a goal himself. The Trents, Ali with a, last-ditch save. Things like that kind of ilk. We've got all of that. So it will be the system more than anything else. And one of the things I was literally showing Enz a minute ago was this. So obviously you can see the way that obviously Liverpool set up, blah, blah, blah. Of course, you can see there, we still play that high line. Doesn't really matter that you've got a striker like Haaland who is extremely quick, and a team like Manchester City who will pass it around you before you've even blinked, but we still trust in what we're doing. This is a Europa League game. We know that this was offside, but of course, this two at the back thing that we're always doing, whether it's Virgin Matip, Virgin Konate, Virgin Quansah, whoever it is, we love having these two at the back. And this time was actually Quansah and Konate in this game. It's stylistically, this is just Liverpool, in a nutshell kind of thing. Again, look at the space for the defense in terms of how big the gaps are between both centre back, left back, centre back, right back, and the two centre backs, the goalkeeper, and everything. When we're looking at that as a whole, and just before we move on to the next topic, is that an issue for you going into the second half of the season? It hasn't necessarily been so too much, of course, because we're top of the league and blah, blah, blah. But do you think that could become an issue moving into the second half of the season? Obviously, we don't know hindsight.
Yeah, it could do. It's an interesting one because it could do, but it kind of reiterating what Enz is saying. That's the risk Liverpool want to play with. They're happy to concede spaces in certain areas. I think, I know I'm kind of getting off topic, but Sean Dyche, on the coach's voice, described when he went up against City and how they beat them or how we beat Liverpool, knowing that they're going to go in to concede a lot of the ball, but they're willing to go and leave Mane out wide by himself, Salah out wide by himself, not necessarily man mark them, because the center of the pitch and the side the ball's on was always more important. That's the risk they played with. Hence why you had a switch from Virgil. If you don't get there across in time, if you don't time that defensive, transition in terms of like shifting from left to right as a defensive unit, you can get caught out. Liverpool seem to want to go and play quite brave and go man for man in certain areas. So if you're talking about Trent inverting and you've got this back three, so let's just use Matip, Van Dijk and Robertson as an example. What they would do a lot of the time is go, okay, let's use City as an example because you had them in that clip. Doku, you're 1v1 against Matip. Matip, you got to deal with that. Verge, you have to deal with Haaland. And Robertson, you got to deal with Foden. Or Tsimikas, you got to deal with Foden. That's the way they're looking at it. Of course, in this scenario, the defensive shape is actually really good. You can actually see the position very, very thought out. McAllister stopping that pass straight into Haaland. They want the ball to go out wide because that's where they want to go and win it. You don't want to try and muck about the ball out wide. But if you go to the other clips as an example, as an example here, you're seeing straight away they're going man for man. So you've got, I don't know who that is. It looks like
No, Quansah. That's Quansah and Konate.
Konate. So Konate's already getting ready to cover the run of this player making the run. Quansah's gone man for man with this player. Now, of course, we haven't got time to go and get the player. But in this scenario, the danger is behind Quansah and the player on the ball. So they've gone man for man anyway. And that's the risk they want to go and play with, knowing that if we go man for man, it means that if we win the ball back, we trust the quality of our defenders, of our centre-backs, of our full-backs, or even our goalkeeper to go and find the spare man. So great situation we're in right now. If Quansah wins that ball, remember what happened in this passage of play, but let's say Quansah wins the ball here, or Konate wins the ball. This is where they scored. That's where they scored, exactly. But let's say hypothetically, Konate wins the ball after that ball's played through. He wins the ball. Straight away, he can pass to Alisson. Where's the outlets on the pitch? You've got two players now that are in miles of space in terms of the top of the pitch because they already will just go and get wide. So as soon as Alisson's got the ball, touch, switch into play. And that's Trent or that's whoever's playing that right back. It's going to have time on the ball. And that's the risk Liverpool want to go and play with. Now, the question we've got is, do we as fans, because we're having the discussion, do we feel comfortable with that risk? Do we like the risk? That's where we can have the discussion. But when you look at what's going on this season, we've lost what 2-3 games this season.
3, I think
No,
2 in the
2.
Europa League and one.
Yeah,
in the
2 in the
Prem.
Europa League and 1 test. We've lost 3 games this season. You can't really question it. If it works well. But that's where you've got to drill your defensive unit to go and be. It's look, we complain about this, but if you went to like Crystal Palace or you spoke to West Ham fans or you spoke to other fans, the risk that they play with is we're going to let you have the ball, but we're just going to defend outside of our box and force you to take shots from outside the box. If you speak to them, a lot of those fans are saying, we don't like that risk we're playing with because we're sitting on the edge of our box. We're not really doing anything. We're not being proactive. We can't control what's going on. When it works like West Ham did against Arsenal the other day, where they just sat back and caught them on a counter, no one's complaining about that football. But when you're sitting back like that and then they can see the screamer from De Bruyne because no one stepped up, or they can see the screamer from Jones when we played West Ham because they didn't step up in time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? When they didn't step up, or Soboslai when he took a shot and they didn't step up, then the fans are going to be saying, you played with that risk. You allowed him to take a shot. If you had closed him down quick enough, you would have been calm. So, yeah, man.
Probably a bit like this clip here when Brighton obviously scored. In terms of, obviously, this is more looking at the build-up play and everything. But again, it's what Jerry is obviously and ends we're talking about. That's the risk that Jurgen Klopp obviously wants to play with. Now, again, like I said, it's 2024. I am trying my hardest to not get too angry when it comes to Liverpool and when it comes to Klopp and the way he wants to necessarily play. I've just let it live that that's not the way I want the team to play, but I can't argue with the guy when you're top of the league and, you know what I mean, the team are doing relatively well. But this risk that we do play with, it does make me think, and I think Luge even mentioned there about so I can find the comment. I think it only gets spooky if our press isn't up to par or people aren't winning their 50-50s. I feel like that's when I'm always like, you're banking, just like any football team in general, but we really do bank on these individual battles, so to speak, because if one person is off that press, if, for example, let me see if I can even get up the if, for example, Trent doesn't close down quick enough, that means there's going to be a massive gap here, I feel, for then Matic to have to deal with, which then means he's got to come across. The problem with these two coming across essentially is more often than not, he's usually up here, whether it's him or Tsimikas or Gomez, whoever's playing obviously on that left-hand side. If he's up there, he's still trying to run back to get himself into this position. That's where I feel then we start leaving massive gaps. We know how Van Dijk likes to defend. He isn't necessarily always going to be touch tight like this to other players. He's going to kind of leave that. He almost lets you wonder and think, well, either you go left, either you go right, either you pass it or you go back or whatever. So then I'm always thinking, I'm not 100% comfortable at times, even when we're relying so heavily on these 1v1 battles at times. At times, listen, it's fantastic. Liverpool, in my opinion, anyway, regardless of how shit we were last season, I've always looked at Liverpool and said, we're still the best pressing team. Even when we were dead, we were still pressing relatively well in phases. But in a general sense, we're still the best pressing team that I've seen for a very, very long time. But when Liverpool miss one trick in that press, I almost feel like it's game over. And I feel like the reward is obviously what's happening, but at times I feel like, is it even necessary for us to be this risky? Like, we're so risky that we're still giving chances away. But by the way, it's not like I'm gonna say lucky. Maybe someone, Jerry, maybe he might think of another word. But I almost feel like we've been lucky in games where other teams just haven't put away their dinner. They just haven't finished it. So if they finished it, I remember a game against West Ham that we played. I think the game that we all said, Quansah, absolutely amazing. He's probably the best midfielder on the pitch. They ended up losing 3-1 in that game. If Antonio scores, I think it was Antonio and maybe Bowen missed the chance. If they score that, we're looking at a completely different game. Wolves should have probably put us to the sword in that first half of that game, where we were absolutely atrocious in that game until we then come back. Of course, we win 3-1. But if they had put away their dinner, we will remember Cunha should have scored that header. Don't know what he was doing. Ended up fluffing his lines. That's 2 games there. There's probably other games if I really and truly was to go deep dive into every game. Brentford, Mbuemo through on goal. Alisson comes up with that save. If Mbuemo scores that, if Visser scores the chance he has, I feel like we're always looking at a completely different game because of this risk that we're trying to play with. And now, again, I'm not saying that Liverpool can't give away chances. And what N said earlier on is 100% correct. Every team, Manchester City, I've seen Real Madrid, I've seen Barcelona, Bayern Munich, they all give away chances in games. You ain't going to get away with that. It's football. Anyone can get a chance against you. I've seen Luton do it to many a team, and they're not even that good. But I feel like at times we can minimize this kind of risk. And maybe that, for me, that's just something I feel that we should be, potentially looking at, moving towards, the second half of the season. But listen, we're top of the league, as everyone keeps telling me and as everyone keeps reminding me. So I can't really complain, too much. I wanted to move on to the next kind of topic, which is surprise packages. And it kind of moves on to my topic after this. Obviously, you and Ram, Savage as well. You guys have spoken about Quansah. Chat to me about him, bro.
I mean, that's the best kind of like statement to use with him. Surprise package, an unknown entity. I know you spoke about earlier today, his performances at Bristol Rovers on loan. I didn't know he was at Bristol Rovers on loan. I knew he was at the academy. I didn't know he went out on loan. I'm not gonna lie, for me, the Liverpool academy is poor. However, in recent years, it is. But in recent years, there've been a few players that I've seen them. I'm like, oh, okay, he's a decent player. So, and the way is, I used to just take more note of it, but I don't anymore. Quansah's someone that because he's unexpected and he's the unknown, we don't know what that provides for Liverpool in terms of, is he good enough to be rotation? Is he good enough to be a starter? Is he not good enough for Liverpool? You don't know. So going into the season, them telling you we've got Quansah, it's the equivalent of Liverpool telling you they've got Owen Beck. Do you know what I mean? Or the equivalent of Liverpool telling you, no, don't worry about the Salah replacement. We've got Ben Doak. Until they perform, you don't really know what they are. He's been really, really good, man. He's been really, really good. And I think the reason why he's been good is that not only is he just screwed on, he just does the basics really well. And I always speak about, players coming into a team. If you get players, if the majority of your players are 7s and 8s out of 10s every single game, like 7s out of 10s, you've got a very, very, very good team. Because some players, like, I don't want to call anyone out, but let's say a player that plays for Everton or a player that plays for Aston Villa even, on his day, can have a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 performance where he's unplayable from any position. The next game, though, he's a 2 out of 10. If you can be a 7, 8 out of 10, that's where you start to establish yourself as, okay, I'm this type of player. I'm good enough to go and play. Quansah's very similar. Like, Quansah doesn't make any rash bozo decisions. Yes, he might make a mistake here and there, a wayward pass, that a clip into someone, but he's not rushing out to go and challenge anyone. He's not blessed with ridiculous pace, so he has to be a bit more intelligent about it. And I think his comments regarding Matip, albeit some people that obviously said it left a sour taste in people's mouths when he was like, look, condolences, innit? Condolences to Matip, but I'm here. That's the mentality you want. And I know he's not saying it in regards to, I hate the guy, look good. But he's like, I mean, look, he is saying good. He's saying, I've got my opportunity now and I'm going to take it with both hands. Now, it goes back to my argument, if we had signed a Colwell or had we have signed a Inacio, if they had played the same amount of minutes, what difference would their performances have been? Because for me, an Inacio or Colwell or whoever would still have to go and play like consecutive games for them to get adjusted to the Premier League. And so we look at Gvardio at City. He's not pulling up any trees by any means. Like, he's not defender of the year all of a sudden. We'd need this guy to settle into a Liverpool backline, and he'd obviously be challenging for, like, if we're going to be honest, is Inacio that much better than Konate? Has he got more credit in the back than Konate? Konate's played it at a World Cup. He's played, Champions League finals. He's played for Liverpool, so he's got the experience. Of course, he's the starter. Matic's played Champions League finals. He's gone on Champions League runs. Of course, he's going to be the starter over you. You're going to have to earn your keep. Now, of course, Inacio sounds like the better name. This player, this centre-back, Tadino sounds like the better name. But Quansah's the name that we didn't know. And when it's a surprise package, you don't know what you're going to get. Now, for the amount of minutes that he's had, could he have done any better, really? Now, what more can he do? Like, he's scored goals. He's scored important goals in certain games. He's defended well. He's made last-ditch challenges. He's won his headers. He's top passing ranks. He's done so many things. Like, what more could he have done to go and be like a good signing? And I know we don't like it as Liverpool fans. As fans, we like to go into the market and get something new and shiny. This is where it was, man. This is where it was. So good player, man.
No. That was kind of a good, like, a good little, yeah, I mean, like, intro into Jarell Quansah, and obviously just taking a look at him, you know, in a general sense. And I think what Jerry's saying ultimately, I think most of us here, and you know, Jerry's just gone there, but I don't want to speak for him, but I feel like this is how most of us kind of feel about a Jarell Quansah is. If, and again, I don't want to make myself as if I'm exempt because I wanted a centre back. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys now. You guys already don't know how many bloody videos I was doing during the summer holidays, you know, talking about different types of defenders, a certain type of centre back that I feel we should potentially go in for. Levi Colwill was obviously one of those players that I looked at and I said a left-sided centre back. Again, I kind of had a feeling that we would potentially change up the system, maybe where we wanted to become almost like the Manchester City, where how we use our defenders, so to speak. But obviously, we haven't necessarily done that. I would say, obviously, they do it a little bit differently. But I still wanted Levi Colwill purely because, again, I didn't think that a Quansah would be able to come into the team and perform in the way that he has performed. Hence why I feel, obviously, he is that surprise package this season. He is that one player this season that I've genuinely looked at and I've said to myself, damn, like you're actually a good player. Like you're not one of those youngsters where he's not one of the youngsters that I feel we always need to give him time. Maybe just give him a couple minutes here. Obviously, he plays at centre back, so it's not going to be like, oh, we can just bring him on for the last like 5 minutes of games and blah, blah, blah. And you can just, you know, get a run out. Obviously, centre back's a little bit different than, say, attacking position or a midfield position. Centre back, we do kind of want, you know, if it's going to be Virgil and someone, we want them to be playing the whole game. Or if it's going to be another partnership, we want them to be playing that, you know, that full game. But I never ever thought that Quansah would be a guy that, as Enz mentioned before, as Jerry has mentioned here, as many other people have mentioned, yo, I don't mind him playing in these kind of games. So I don't really care if he plays against, we've got Arsenal this weekend. I'll be super calm if he plays. I haven't even done my predicted lineup, but I will probably put him in my lineup to say, yeah, I wouldn't mind him playing if you're going to play him alongside of Virgil. Maybe he wants to give Virgil a rest, so he might play someone else. But Quansah's got to be the next centre back next to him, whoever that player is, because that's how good I feel he has performed this season. Whereas with the other players in other positions, like Harvey Elliott when he first came through, or Curtis Jones, obviously, when he was coming through, where you're just kind of like, yeah, let him play a couple minutes here, a couple minutes there. Then, you know, you build up confidence. Heck, we're playing, I don't know, Leighton Orient away. You know what? You can jump into these kind of games, build up your confidence and all these kind of things. Like, he has really, really hit the ground running. And I can't lie, man. I've been super, super duper duper impressed, you know, when I've watched Jarell Quansah this season. And I am hoping that it just continues moving into that second half of the season, because I just think that where we've said we don't need another centre back, so to speak. I know some of you have said you want to buy another centre back, and I know some of you have said you know we don't necessarily need another centre back. If we did buy an Inacio or someone of that kind of ilk, what is that going to do to someone like a Jarell Quansah? Is he still going to be, you know, that type of player where he's going to still be able to develop? I mean, I know everybody wants us to sign Jarell. I know everybody wants us to sign Inacio, but if we just know that if we do sign Inacio, what is that going to mean for Jarell Quansah? Because he can't develop the exact same way. He's not going to get the same game time. That game time, in my opinion, would probably automatically fall to Inacio, purely just through status of player, experience, what he's done in the game and stuff like that. Obviously, there is a hierarchy in football. So are we going to sit here and say, yeah, no, you know what, Inacio, you're going to be playing less minutes than Quansah? I don't see that. And I don't see Inacio also being a player who can play, say, right-sided centre-back. Maybe he should be able to. Jerry's a defender who'd be best to be able to tell you about how defenders kind of work. And he'll probably say, as a defender, you should probably be able to play left-sided centre-back and right-sided centre-back, like a right-sided centre-back can play left-sided, but it doesn't work vice versa. But I just don't think it's going to be that kind of situation. I see, obviously, some of you dropping names like Hincapié as well. I think he's a very good player, another left-sided centre-back, another guy who can also fill in that left wing-back kind of position. But again, I'm just wondering, where are these guys going to necessarily play? We know that Klopp likes solutions within. So with Jarell Quansah being a solution within, unless we get another injury in the defensive position, and it would have to be one of the centre-backs, I don't really think that we're going to go out there and sign another centre back. I don't know what it is. It's something in my brain is just telling me we're not going to do it unless this centre back is genuinely going to come in and play that kind of role of, yeah, I don't mind, just every now and again, a couple games here. Obviously, Matip being injured for as long as he is, that might play a part in it. So is that going to be something that maybe Klopp's looking at, but also the rest of the Liverpool staff and recruitment are also looking at? Is that player also looking at that as well and saying, well, if Matip is injured, you've only got the Jarrell Quansahs, Kanates and Virgil van Dijks. Obviously, Gomez can fill in basically all in the back four, but you've only got those guys to play in the centre-back roles. Maybe if I play a couple games here and there, maybe I can force my way in, but we don't have that many matches left, though. If we get knocked out of any of these cup competitions, our games start to run real thin. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Whereas Quansah's already now had this level of development. Where he's had that level of development, he's been able to develop into this player that we're seeing right now. I almost feel like he just needs to be able to continue that. And once he continues that, he'll be able to push on and, continue to do his thing. But again, these are all questions that, we had prior to the season starting, but also I almost feel like not that they're intensifying, but they are ramping up a tad, purely obviously because of the injuries, but also because of the way that Liverpool are, the way that we all watch the games. We're not silly. We see the way that Liverpool defend at times. We saw the way that we played against Newcastle. The sheer fact that we were so open for, not even the second goal, that was just a corner. The first goal for Isak, we saw how the defense were. We saw how the midfield were, in that situation. Again, I know we give away chances. I'm not saying that we are exempt from doing so, but at times I almost feel like, do we need to either change structurally in the way that we defend, but then are we going to then lose some of the risk reward factor, or keep things the same and it should just kind of work itself out? And again, just let bygones be bygones, and we can just move, with how the season is going to kind of pan out. But of course, you guys in the chat, of course, let me know how you kind of see, this defense. Are we generally happy with it? Are we good with it? Do you think we're going to need something potentially different? I know a lot of you are saying different types of names of different defenders. I remember in the summer, people talking to me about Van der Veen, who's obviously at Tottenham, very, very quick. I didn't know. I knew he was quick, but seeing him in the Prem all the time, I'm like, okay, yeah, this brother's actually super duper quick. Obviously, we know what Cole was about. We've seen a little bit of Inacio. There's a couple other players as well, that we were looking at during the summer that quite a few people wanted. Are we going to be happy bringing them in? Do we need to bring them in? Big up LRB Rams, obviously talking about De Ligt. Again, De Ligt is another good player. I like De Ligt, but where's De Ligt going to play? Is he not going to more or less fill in the same position as a Konate, as a Matip, as a Quansah? Let's take out Matip as a Konate and Quansah. Then you've still got Gomez, fitted in there. I'll be so real with you guys here today. Yeah, I'll be honest. I just feel that the way that Liverpool are, and we know how Jurgen Klopp likes to think. We know what Jurgen Klopp's kind of thinking is when it comes to certain things and in certain positions. He's more or less looking like he wants to find solutions within, as opposed to going out there and trying to sign a player here, trying to sign a player there. That's why I am a little bit like, I don't really know 100%. But again, we'll just wait and see. Just before I go on to my next topic, I'll just quickly run through a couple of the comments that have obviously just popped up. Big up John the Second. We do give away casual goals. I agree that that's what annoys me more about the defense, is the fact that the kind of goals we're giving away, it's not like the opposition have had to do so much against us where you're like, nah, you've had to break Liverpool down in ways that we didn't even think were possible. Do you get what I'm saying? We're actually just giving away cheap goals. And at times that might potentially hurt us. But, it is what it is. Big up Assad, man. Big up Assad in the building. How are Chelsea doing these days, man? Yeah, I mean, everyone in the chat, show the Chelsea fans some love, man. I think that the defense is one injury away from a crisis. I don't know if I would say the word crisis, so to speak, but I hear what you're saying, though, because I do think we are an injury or centre-back injury away, especially where you're like, okay, depending on how long this player is going to be out for, that might mean we may need to dip into the market. Like, it's going to be a priority to dip into the market. But I do also think that if there is a deal that we can do, i.e. a Cody Gakpo, a Luis Diaz type of deal, where we feel like, yeah, look, why don't we bring this forward a little bit? Then I think we'll end up trying to do it. But again, I don't really know. Gomez getting moved from position to position like a spliff. Kanate is a bozo and has injury issues. Only Virgil van Dijk is 30. I hear it. I hear what you're saying, Assad. I mean, obviously, you do employ, the Thiago Silvas, the Sassis, the Mula Gustos, the Reece James, and players of this kind of ilk. So I don't know if you're in the best position. I'm saying to be talking about defense, but I hear what you're saying. You know what I mean? There is some validity to some of the stuff you are saying. Summertime, I think left back has to be one priority. So what you're saying, John, you're not really feeling the tsimikas thing. The thing with tsimikas, and even to touch on that quickly before I move on, even the tsimikas thing, I know Jerry mentioned there. I know Jerry mentioned there about, talking about tsimikas obviously being that deputy to Andrew Robertson. Tsimikas has done good since Robertson has been injured, and it was unfortunate that he obviously picked up that injury to that thug, Bukayo. No, I'm joking, to Bukayo Saka. But I would still want to upgrade upon that area. Like, I'm not going to sit here and lie and say if a good bid was to come in for Tsimikas, I wouldn't sell him. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, I can't sit here and lie and say that, because I do think that we can do better. When you've got someone like Robertson who, not even on his day, but just in a general sense, can perform to a high quality level, you almost need, I'm not saying someone of equal level, but I just feel like you could get someone better than Tsimikas. There are players out there. I'm not going to sit here and act like Tsimikas is the best thing since sliced bread. So I've liked what Tsimikas has done, but I'm not going to act like I wouldn't potentially go out and, sign someone else if the opportunity arose. Big up the Ram stand, Adrian Trufair. Fair enough. I haven't seen enough of him, so again, you can speak to that. I'm not going to put him on my list or anything. I'd have to go away, do my scout reports as per usual, and watch him. But if you're saying he's good enough where you don't mind signing him, then it is what it is. Big up, I love Liverpool. Salah scores, right? So we set up expecting him to score. Ali saves, right? So we set up expecting him to save. Stressful sometimes, but it's working. And this is exactly what I'm saying. This is literally it, is that the way that we play, that's why when Ali wasn't in the team for those couple of games or whatever, and we had Kelleher in goal against Fulham, for example, and you saw the way Kelleher played in the game, you saw the way Liverpool played in the game, it was that first game after Alisson. So it's the first game that we're almost trying to get used to, okay, we've got a different goalkeeper in goal. He hasn't got the same abilities as Alisson in saving shots. Ball at his feet, he's okay. He might be he's decent with the ball at his feet, but in a general sense, overall, he's nowhere near as good as Ali. That game for me made me look at that team and say, we do heavily rely on Alisson, both in build-up play, transition, but also defensively. The way I feel we rely on someone like Alisson, I almost think it's a little bit too much at times, where I'm like, bloody hell. Like, I feel like with goalkeepers, especially talking about Alisson, with goalkeepers, I don't feel like I should be seeing so much of my goalkeeper. Like, if we were all to go through the list of goalkeepers throughout time, did you guys see a lot of Peter Cech? Not really. You saw him when he needed to see him. Peter Schmeichel, the same thing. Edwin van der Sar, not when he was at Fulham, more so when he was at Manchester United, but even when he was at Fulham, he was still a good goalkeeper. Pepe Reina, but towards his back end of the career, he was a little bit, a bit fugazi. The David Seamans as well. Like, I don't feel like when we're talking about and Alisson is one of the best goalkeepers ever, but when I'm thinking about that, it might be just because it's a different time. But I'm just looking at it thinking I shouldn't even be seeing these guys as much. I don't think so. You guys, again, let me know, but I don't feel like I should see Oliver Kahn so much, for Bayern Munich. Manuel Neuer, I shouldn't have to see him so much in games, making these worldly saves on a consistent basis. Well, I'm not talking, he did a save 4 match days ago. No, we're talking every game almost. This brother's pulling off some world-class save. Now, testament to him for being able to pull them off, but surely there's got to be something that we may need to do to just protect him. I said this on Enza's show the other day. He must be vexed with the team half the time about his clean sheet bonus. Like, they must be doing a whip round, for the end of the season and saying, yeah, we kind of owe you some, Pete, because the way that we've been conceding goals, it's not always your fault. In fact, 9 times out of 10, it's not your fault. It's the team in itself. But we've obviously, let you down. Yeah, no, I fucks with Gusto. You know what I mean? I fucks with Gusto. He's all right. The rest of them, I don't really know. Big up the Ramstan. I told you Kanate patterned up his ability on the ball recently. Yeah, it's almost like that Nunes thing. They've gotten better, but better doesn't mean I'm happy with it. It's just better. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like you run a 100-meter race. I don't know what the record is, but let's say you run a 100-meter race in, I don't know, like 11 seconds and you keep coming last in the race, but now you've been able to, get that time down to, I don't know, 10.5 seconds, but you're still coming last in the race. So you've been able to improve, but you're still coming last in the race. That's the same way I look at that kind of situation. I love Liverpool. Robbo was good, bro. Disagree. Big disagree. No. I don't know about that because I remember games where Robbo wasn't as good. If I'm being honest, I felt like maybe he was more consistent than the rest of them. I don't think he had like the mad dips that everyone else was kind of having, but I don't know about him being good. I would say he was okay. Like, you know what I mean? He was all right. He's probably maybe he was the best one. I don't know. Well, I can't remember, should I say. Why can't Gomez be the first choice left back? Are you, big up Freezy, are you asking this if Robbo was fit, or are you just asking this as of this situation right now with Robbo obviously being injured and Tsimikas being injured? Because obviously he's the only left back that we've got. But if you're asking if Robbo was fit, would I put him as the first choice left back? No, I still wouldn't do that. I'd either get Robertson or you go and sign, another left back. Big up Neil Gunner in the building. Fofana injury prone. How dare he? Big up. We got John Gusto's quality. Yeah, like I said, he's all right. He's all right. Big up Jerry back in the building.
Yeah, quick thing, because I know you were talking about because I've been listening the whole time. Just had to do with the likes of Quansah. Yeah, I know we moved past. Where do you think his ceiling is? Like, where do you think, like, I know we're talking about, you know what, he's done really well. What's the next step for him? So, of course, it's getting game time. What is it next? Usurping Konate? Do we feel he can do that? Is it becoming the Konate-Quansah partnership? What is it? Because he's done well now, but there has to be a next step for him. There has to be the next level. If there isn't a next level, then obviously I just thought about, as we're speaking about it, then buying an Inacio makes sense because you think like he's going to be that next guy. If you don't think Quansah is, then why keep him around?
I almost feel like Inacio is the step that Quansah is trying to get to next. I feel like Inacio is already at that stage.
But how can he do that? But how can he do that being at Liverpool? Because Van Dijk's even spoken about it. Van Dijk at 20 years old was not at Liverpool. He was at Groningen. Like, yeah, but Inacio's at Sporting, like playing week in, week out. How can Quansah at 20 years old? Like if Quansah play, yeah.
Okay, go on. No,
go on.
Let me hear
if Quansah's 20 years old, like him being asked to go and play week in, week out is completely different than if, like, let's use Lavia as an example. When Lavia was 20 years old playing for Southampton week in, week out, different level of pressure. You're going to get repeated games over and over again. Quansah makes one mistake, you're not seeing pitch ever again because the stakes are completely different. Do you know what I mean?
All right, to answer the first question then, in terms of the ceiling, I think let's just say I'll put it into categories. So you got meaty, you got good, top class, world class,
legend,
Messi, Ronaldo. You know what I'm saying? They got them kind of guys. I would say his ceiling right now, from what I've seen, is top class. I don't know if I see world class at this stage right now. But can he push the barrier to get to world class? Then yes, I think if he's allowed the opportunity to continue in this kind of space where he's playing games. Obviously, this is just this season. This is the first season that we're seeing him with Liverpool. Next season, it's going to be different when we've got Champions League football. Is Klopp going to rotate as much? Are we going to see that? Because from what I can remember, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, anytime Liverpool been in the Champions League, I don't remember heavy rotation from game week to game week. I more or less remember strongest team on game week one, every single game, and then we got a match on Saturday. We're still playing our strongest team. We just keep going and going and going and going. So I don't know if we're going to rotate enough for him to continue developing. Whereas I'm looking at Inacio and I'm like, you're already in a position where I'm like, you could slyly, you're already at that next level up than what a Quansah is, and you probably exhibit, in my opinion, world-class abilities purely because you have been able to show that, and you've been playing football, senior football, a lot longer than Quansah. You could easily step in every now and again and probably usurp anybody. Whereas Quansah, I don't know if you're going to even get enough time to be able to usurp anybody because you're still at a lower stage level. So can you realistically get to that next stage, even a Nasio stage, which isn't even the Konates or then the Van Dijk stage, to then be able to showcase, okay, no, I can do that. Maybe he will, maybe he can. I don't really know. But big up Ram, obviously, in the damn building, bro. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. Good, man. Big up JJ. Big up G.
Chat to me, bro. Chat to us.
I get what you man are saying with Quansah in it, because you talk about Inacio. Inacio had the time to build up his confidence, build up his overall ability at Sporting, because Sporting can allow it. That's why they haven't been winning regularly. They haven't been winning their league regularly, because they've been allowing young players to come through and find their feet. With Quansah is a difficult one, because I am of the impression of signing another centre back just to build that mentality. I want competition in my team. I want people to fight for their places, because I think if you breed that within the team, it gets people wanting to win football matches, because they want to play football at the end of the day. But you're talking about someone's development, and the only reason why Levi Colwill got his opportunity at Chelsea and why they were so desperate to keep him was because he had his opportunities at Brighton, who, let's be honest, weren't at the time one of the best teams in the league. They were like mid to low mid-table team. They weren't relegation fodder, but they were like solid mid-table team. They give people chances and all that kind of stuff. With Quansah, I don't see him playing for Liverpool if we do end up getting another centre back, especially with Inacio coming through. And I don't see where he would go that would be best for him, in my opinion. I don't see a mid-table team being a good fit for him. I don't see him doing well in the Bundesliga either. I don't see him doing well at either of those teams, and they got pretty settled centre backs.
You're talking about Inacio or Inacio?
Quansah.
Okay, cool.
So I look. People talk about Sepp van den Berg. I was at the start of the season. I almost writ him off. Like, I was like, yeah, that ankle injury's killed you, bro. You're no longer that guy no more. But he's started to improve. But he's at Mainz. I was hoping he'd go to someone like Leverkusen, or maybe even Freiburg or someone like that. But he's at Mainz. Someone low level. Like, I wanted it in Freiburg or Stuttgart, someone like that. But he's at Mainz. Quansah, I don't see him doing well at either of those teams. I don't think that league is best for him. It's development, in my opinion. And
even if he's getting the game time,
even with the game time, in my opinion, I just don't think he'll just suit that league. And people say Bundesliga is like a playground for strikers, and for his development, it's just not it, in my opinion. And that's why I would say just to keep him. But the one thing I say about the rotation, 21-22, what Klopp slightly did was, even though Matip was our main centre back, Konate would always play the European football matches. Konate was always that guy in Europe.
Okay, but that was because that was due to the different rules, in it. Like, so what I mean by the different rules is you had automated VAR in the Champions League, which meant that it wouldn't be the naked eye flag up. So hence why the high line, you had to have a bit of pace. Matip's always a bit more, he's slower, but he reads the game a bit differently. So we dominate teams a bit more as well on the ball. When you looked at Liverpool in the Champions League, especially when you're getting into latter stages, they're not respecting you as much. Like, they're going to try and get at you. Hence why you need that recovery pace a bit more. I think that's what it was more so. Because I remember even with we had this argument with Joe Gomez, and when you had the Joe Gomez Matip situation, it was like Joe Gomez is the faster one. So when we're playing these teams, we need that recovery pace. But when we've got Matip and we've controlled the ball a bit more, we want Matip in, obviously, on the pitch, because he can become that extra body in midfield if needed, like just to like come in and pop the ball out. So depends how you look at it, man. I think when we look at centre backs, it's look, the only way he's going to develop is if he plays every single game now. So for me, it's how highly do you rate Quansah and how highly does Klopp rate Quansah? If you rate him that high enough that like, yeah, you decided to keep him and you think you're giving him games in the Premier League and this, that, then boy, you got to start playing him. Like, and then it begs the question, who's the Matic replacement?
Do you know what makes it?
Is that Quansah?
How high do you both rate Quansah? Like in terms of same question that you asked me. What's this? Where's the ceiling?
The reason why I'm so hesitant to put him at world-class level because he just hasn't shown it yet. And the benefit with him is that centre-backs develop late. Like you become a world-class centre-back when you got experience and your mentality and the way you read the game and in-game intelligence is there. Like we don't put Konate on that world-class level because we can be very rash at times. Some people are a little bit hesitant to put Rudiger in that class because he's very rash at times. But when it came to Virgil, people were automatically putting him there because he was showing that in-game intelligence. But that develops over time. So he's got time on his hands. But like you said, in-game intelligence comes from experience and knowing how to play against certain teams and getting a rhythm of how to play against teams. And he needs that. So it's hard. It's hard. It's so difficult with him. It really is because he's at that stage where he's like, he needs game time, but he has time on his hands. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Put it this
Okay.
way.
No, I agree with that.
But the way I see it is that look, Saliba only became Saliba because he played games. Because Arteta saw it and was like, yeah, you know what, David Luiz, skedaddle. Whoever else we got there, skedaddle. Do you know what I mean? Like, no, but he did, didn't it? Like, he brought them in with something just bounce, innit? And then what? He brought in Saliba after saying Saliba ain't good enough, which at the time he might have not been, went on loan, played games, had a good season. He came in and he started games, and Saliba only became the Saliba we're talking about right now because he played games.
But JJ, it's a bit different with Saliba because Saliba always had that hype when he first came through.
Yeah, so I feel like he did have hype from young.
Fofana had the hype.
Yeah, they always had
that hype from a very, very young age.
But Fofana's not that tall, and Jarrell Quansah's taller than him. Jarrell Quansah's taller than Fofana.
No, but that's not the point. That's what we're making is the fact that they're both. What's that academy called in France? The one where they just. They produce players.
I know exactly because I think isn't it where all Conan them, man?
Yeah, like Henri. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
It's named after that French legend who scored like a bunch of goals in the World Cup. They all came from there, and the people were talking about them highly. Like they were like, these are the guys that are going to.
No, but that's fine. No, but that's fine. Like in terms of like, there's loads of touted strikers, players, loads of that were young, but that end up not being anything. My point is, Saliba wasn't Saliba when Arsenal signed Saliba. He was this player that no one really knew about. Yeah, maybe in France they knew about him. He wasn't good enough to go at Arsenal. And when Arsenal were like, "Wow, our centre backs are terrible," Arteta sent him on loan and said, "You're not good enough." Like, and then when it looked like Saliba might get sold, he had a really, really good season, and then he brought him back in. And Saliba only becomes Saliba because he plays consistent games. Now, I'm not saying Saliba's on the level of a Quansah, but you don't know what Quansah can do until you give him consistent games. Like we've seen it with Jones, we've seen it with loads of players. If you don't get consistent games and you're coming in and out of games, you can't really establish yourself. Even Endo, people are saying, I wasn't watching games, and in the group chats, people were telling me Endo was shocking today. I'm like, was he that bad? Like, was he that bad? It's what he's been on a run now, and now people are telling me like he's this good, he deserves 9 out of 10 for this game, and it's he might have got that 9 out of 10, but he's only got that because he's had consistent games. When you got consistent games, then you can actually show how good you are. And we won't know that with Quansah unless he can get consistent games.
Yeah, he shot me up.
And is Klopp going to go and give that to him? That's the question. Is Klopp going to say, you know what? You're playing every single game until further notice, until there's an injury, or if you go on a poor run of form. But if you're giving me 7s, 6, 7, 8 out of 10, you're playing no matter what because we believe in your development. Can Liverpool afford to do that? And are they going to go and do that? A Dortmund will do it. Will Liverpool do it? That's the question, in my opinion, man.
In regards to that, I blame Ran because Ram is our Bundesliga expert, and he told us about Endo, and now we're here. We all got pie on our faces. So everyone blame Ram
happy
for
though.
the assessment.
I'm happy though.
Of,
Big up my ex Stuttgart captain, bro. You know what I mean? Big up Stuttgart. You know what I mean? He shut me up big. He shut me up hella.
Yeah, I think he shut a lot of people up.
Yeah, as in like I've seen him play. I was like, cool, decent player. He's all right, but he's not gonna. If he's gonna start, I'm gonna be seriously worried about our chances. But he shut me up hella. Shut me the hell up. Because he, like JJ said, got game time, got used to the league, got used to how fast it is, and all of a sudden people are starting to say, yeah, he's actually all right.
Yeah, like for me, like the way I look here, yeah, is that it's any player that like it's any player, innit? If they get game time, then you can actually make a fair assessment on like how good they can be, what they are to your team. When you go and look at Curtis Jones, he's getting a run in the team now. And now Arsenal are interested in buying him. What? Because he's had a consistent period where he's playing 80 to 90% of the games, right? Emil Smith-Rowe at one point was this top don because he's playing every single game. He got given a number 10 top. Where's Emil Smith-Rowe now? That's for real. Yeah. That's the way I look at it. Look, Anthony's the one that gets that you can make a clear assessment on United's Anthony because he plays every single game and you know his pants. Like you know he's just not delivering. Like you know his pants. But if he was playing like one game here, one game there, how can you tell what you can do on that stage? The only thing you can tell, the only assessment you can actually make is that the gaffer, the team, the management just don't rate him, innit? They don't rate him as a player. So if you're not playing games, clearly Klopp's not rating you. So it's on Klopp to see how much he rates him. And clearly he must rate him because you're not going into the window, it seems like. And you've decided to go and play him in so many games, which was, like you said, it was a surprise package. So, yeah, man.
No, listen, man. I think we could sit here all day and literally talk about Joel Quansah. And like I said, I hold my hands up, man. He has impressed me. Do you know what I mean? This season with just how good he is. So when we're asking about the ceiling, I think what Ram is saying there, I feel like I agree with that. Is I don't really know. I don't want to put him into a world class because he's not. It's not like Bellingham where we've been watching the guy since he was 16 and he's literally just gone from strength to strength. But as Jerry said, he's been able to play and show that. So you almost can just see it. And now he's at Real Madrid doing exactly what he's doing, which is obviously fair enough to him. But with Quansah, he's still kind of starting out his journey. And that's not to say he can't make world class. I'm not, by the way, I don't want anyone to think I don't think he won't be a world class player. I just, right now, I couldn't bank on that and say, nah, I feel like if he doesn't become world class, he's a flop. Whereas right now, I'm just like, top class player, top class defender. And then, we kind of move, from there.
He's the new kid on the block. He's literally the new kid on the block. And like you said, we've seen so many centre-backs who've shown maturity beyond their years, but never improved from there. So
that's true.
You got to be hesitant about what he is. But he's he's solid, man. Me and JJ were talking about him in pre-season. I saw him at England under 20s. He was doing his thing there. I was hopeful that he's going to be that guy, and it turns out he could be that guy. So big up to him, man. And England got a solid centre-back who could play football now.
Big up, keep it level. He said if Quansah was at Arsenal, he'd already be labelled world-class. I can probably agree. With that one. I wanted to move on to the next defender. This is obviously a defender. Ice Spice, Bambi on ice. He had the nickname that was going around like there was no tomorrow, which I feel sorry for him when I think about it now. I'm like, that was kind of like when I think about it now. My apologies, Ram. I'm gonna move you up there. When I think about Joe Gomez now, watching him play, he's looking all right. I can't lie, he is looking all right. Guys, Ram, Jerry, chat to me about Gomez this season. And obviously off the back of last season, where again, like I said, if you told me 50 million for Gomez, I'm snatching off your hand. But look at him now, guys are all filling out left back, right back, centre back. Doing inverted. Chat to me, man.
When do we face Brighton?
I actually don't know.
That's the day I'm waiting for. He's been outstanding. But when you got to face your demons head on and he sees Mr. Matoma, do you know what I mean? The man that took his surname and gave him his. Do you know what I mean? The man that bent him over literally on a pitch. That's where he's got to go and make the difference for you, man. That game, it's gonna be a lot about mentality. But no, look, in all seriousness, that he's been really, 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 really good. Really good.
Big up. His talking days are over.
Yeah, like rough.
Yo.
Keep it a stack. Joey, yeah, it's mad. But yeah, Joe Gomez, man. I mean, look, he's been really, really good. Defensively, just solid. It's a weird though. Do I like him at centre back as much as I do out wide?
I feel like I prefer him out wide, but then
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
No, but man can't forget, like, we weren't watching Joe Gomez and Virgil van Dijk Premier League winning partnership right there. I can't forget that.
But that's what I'm saying.
Are we all gonna act like that wasn't there?
No, but that's my point. We're seeing that, but I'm looking at it and I'm like, you know what? I actually prefer him out wide. I feel like it suits the type of play he is. I think I just don't know what it is. It's a resurgence, or is it just a shift in what Joe Gomez is? He's not going to be that starting. Do we like? I know he's had a resurgence, right? Do we see Joe Gomez as his starting centre back for Liverpool? Do we see the future of Liverpool, right? If Van Dijk was to leave tomorrow, do we see it as Konate and Gomez together? I don't.
He's going to be that Milner of the defender. He's going to be the Milner of the centre backs or the defence. Okay. Sorry, you know what I mean? Like he's just going to be everywhere. Yeah. He's going to be covering everywhere. And do you know what, JJ? It's so handy to have someone that is good in both right back, centre back, and left back. How many players in world football have been able to do that? I can only name a handful. Probably Maldini, because he played left back, he played centre back. I can't even think of anyone else off the top of my head. John O'Shea, maybe.
Right? Yeah, John O'Shea. He played a few positions. Yeah.
People cuss John O'Shea, yeah, but him playing in multiple positions was so handy for Alex Ferguson. You could go ask him that. And having him around, one thing I wish he didn't have was that ACL, because I think in ACL, I think he would have been a top left back because of that agility, the balance, everything. It would have been on point. And he's lost a lot of that because of that ACL, the double ACL. So it is what it is, man. But I think the resurgence of Joe Gomez this season needs to be spoken about, man. Has to be spoken about. Like JJ said, though, Brighton at home, in front of the fans, against Matoma, you got to do your thing, man. You got to do your thing. Yeah, possibly Daley Blind as well.
Daley Blind, yeah, he's someone who could play quite a few positions.
I always like Daley Blind. I always like.
And look where.
Did he have a problem? What happened to Blind again? He had something happen to him, right?
Like he went to United. He went into United, and that just finished him.
I thought he was diabetic.
No. As well. Yeah. That's the illness thing. Yeah.
But he started at United, didn't it? He started at United because he was calm before then. He went to the World Cup, was calm. He was at United, and then it messed him up. If he had not gone United, heck, we might be talking about. Do you know what I mean?
There's a lot of players who've gone to Manchester United, and we look at them now. Jadon Sancho looking like he has to go back to Germany just to kind of revive his career in them. So
he's there on Duolingo again, trying to remember what in German and that.
Bro. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like when I think about certain players, but even just looking at Joe Gomez, even in a general sense, like I can't lie. Like I said, I would have sold the brother. Like 100% would have sold him in the summer. There was no way you were going to convince me that he was going to have the season that he's having now. Now, he's not really... someone in the chat tell me, I don't know how many times he's been injured this season. If he's been injured at all. I feel like he hasn't really had injuries like that. So he's staying fit. He's obviously playing well. And I just think that his confidence, obviously, it just seems to be back up. I'm not under the impression that I feel like he's better than when he was at his peak. Well, not peak, sorry. When he was playing centre-back. We got Jamie. Guys, make sure you head over to Jamie Phillips Football Chat to go and subscribe to his channel. Liverpool and City have the best defenders in the league. Yeah, I mean, look, we're speaking on it now. I think that could be true. But in regards to Gomez, I just think that right now he's in a good space. I've said this, and this is for everybody. This is so, like I said, guys, I'll be doing midfield talk tomorrow and then attacker talk on Saturday. I'm going to say this for every single player. Bar, Van Dijk, Alisson, Trent, Salah, and that's it. Everyone else, I feel like they're in the good moments. And why I'm not picking those other guys is because they're proven world-class players. So it's like, I know this is what they can do. The rest of them, I don't know about that. So I'm like, are they just in a good space now? and then obviously move forward. I know not every player can be world class, by the way. I do know that, but I am thinking that they're just in a good moment. Can they be any better? Maybe. Is this their best potentially? I have no idea in regards to how Liverpool are going to continue being. But even when we're just looking at the defense and specifically at Joe Gomez, I like the fact that he's versatile. Ram's right. I wish he never got that first injury because I liked him at left back under Brendan Rodgers. I thought, right, he actually looks all right, and he wasn't even left footed. And I thought maybe we can use this to our advantage. Obviously, then when Jurgen Klopp then comes in, I thought this might be something that we could potentially, use and utilize. Obviously, then he moves back into that centre back role. We win the Premier League. Absolutely fantastic. Season before we won it. We won the Champions League with Matip. I'm sure Matip played.
Matip was injured. Matip got injured for the season. That's why Gomez had to play.
Matip got injured for the season. So Gomez has been, in my opinion, he's kind of got to that stage where you're like, yo, this brother, he's, in my opinion, started to exhibit where I just thought he'd be top class, but then he started to push the boundaries where he could potentially become a world-class defender. But then the injuries, and then last season, brother, he just dropped to, no pun intended, but he just dropped to levels that I just weren't really
dropped to his knees, bro. He just dropped to his knees. Sometimes that's what happens in life, isn't it? You end up with your knees, bro. Like that's what it was, man.
and nah, it's true. Look, like I said, he's rejuvenated for sure. Still not convinced by him though, because he can get skinned. I promise you employ the sassy. Like, I feel like you're forgetting the defenders that you, man, are employing over there at Chelsea. Colwill. I've seen Colwill this season, and I like him. I like Colwill, Don't make me have to, what I'm saying, get wicked and bad on him. Big up, Jamie. Gomez is versatile. He's our version of Ake. I would have said more our version of Akanji. Because I feel like Akanji can fill in. I feel like I've seen this guy play left back, right back, centre mid, DM. Like, I feel like he's a player who can kind of play, in multiple positions. But I get where you're kind of coming from. What do we want to see from Joe Gomez? What's his best position for the second half of the season? Obviously, I know right now it's left back because injury and stuff like that. But where do you think we would get the best out of Gomez? Or are you of that opinion, Ram, brother can just anywhere and he's good? Like he'll just play.
I think his best position probably at this moment in time is fullback because of his physicality and his ability to drive with the ball. Like, he's very strong. He's very hard to get off the ball when he gets going. I think his days as a centre back is gonna be only for an emergency, man. I really don't. I really do see that, man. I don't see him playing centre back if say Konate, Van Dijk are injured and we just got him and Quansah left. I really don't see anyone. I really don't see him playing centre back anymore. I think after that game at Napoli, Napoli was a shit show. The worst game I've seen us under Jurgen Klopp. I've seen bad games. That was the worst. We could have got absolutely slapped by them, but they just decided to take the foot off the gas. And Gomez was a big part of that, man. So obviously he'll have moments where he'll show something, but fullback for me, man. And if he's gonna play centre back, it's got to be an emergency.
I think it suits his ability so much more. Like when he can be aggressive, like step into an aggressive challenge and go 1v1 with someone, very similar to a Konate. It helps them to go and play where they can go and do that. And in those fullback positions, that's what Klopp wants. He wants them to engage a lot. In the defense, we're expecting you to be a bit more cautious, a bit more calm. And I think when you dive in, especially with the way Liverpool play with those, sometimes it's just two at the back with Trent pressing the guy on the ball and Robertson mad high up or Tsimikas mad high up. You need to be a bit more reserved. And I think when you've got, I know Gomez has obviously gotten better at it and it can be a bit reserved, but for example, when Gomez and Konate play together, I never like that combination. I never like it because I don't think it has a lot of balance for us. When he's out wide for me, it enables him to go and use his athleticism, use his ability to go and play. And the fact that he's played at the back, he understands what the centre-backs would need from the fullback as well. So I think he's had like good schooling and a good kind of education playing like for Liverpool on the left, at centre-back, on the right throughout the years, whether that be, you know what I mean, at Charlton with Liverpool at left back and then obviously at right back at certain times for Liverpool again under Klopp. So yeah, man.
No. I feel you, man. I feel you. I think it's gonna be interesting. Like I keep saying, in regards to watching this Liverpool team, especially the defense, because we've been, in my opinion, relatively good in moments. It's almost like individually, I feel like these players, and I'm just gonna share my screen now so I can get this up. Guys, make sure you're obviously smashing that like button for me, please. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. You guys can see that, yeah? Yeah.
Yeah.
Calm. So yeah, because I want you guys to obviously rate their kind of performances so far this season. And obviously we did the mid-season review and stuff like that, and we did look at everything, but I just wanted to obviously focus solely on the defense in a general sense. But as they have been this season, not even obviously as a collective, because they are a collective anyway, but in their individual roles, I almost feel like these players have actually been good / some of them have been excellent. But collectively, at times, I do feel like it does look a little piece wishy-washy. But it is what it is. If you had to rate Alisson's performances this season, what are you guys giving him, man? And people in the chat, please get involved, man. Get involved. I'll start off with Ram.
I was going to say, don't bother asking me, man, because you know what the score's going to be. People are going to not care because
-2 from anything he says, and that's the correct answer, G. That's mine.
Okay, so 7. I'm joking.
Nah,
he's saying 10. He's going to say 10, so I'm saying 8.
I was going to say 11, bro.
Yeah, man, you're
it's only
a guy, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's only out of 10, so we'll give it a 10.
I think if you want to be overall and if you want to be picky, 9.
Oh, you okay? Cool.
9 and 9.
Why 9 though? Why 9? Why only a 9?
He ain't got an assist.
Not that I'm shocked, but yeah. Is that how you're marking him down?
Yeah. If he's a 10, he got an assist, but he ain't got an assist this season. So yeah, 9.
Man's a goalkeeper. I'm just letting you know. Like, it's a goalkeeper,
I know.
Like,
but he normally gets an assist.
When the season starts, he's not looking at it. Yeah, but the season ain't over yet, man. I saw he's got on this. No, he doesn't. Now I'm good with a 9 or a 10. Obviously, got some people in the chat. Big up John. Obviously, said he'd give him a 10. Big up Realism, Jared. Of course, on the road to 1K.
Also, one thing. Yeah. That City game, the distribution can be a bit techie at times. So
no. Now, that was something I was even going to point to anyway. I agree, that City game, but how many of those games has he even had this season?
Not a lot. He's been overall quite decent with his feet, but he's had moments where he does do that. Like
listen,
don't work. You know what I mean?
Guys, listen, I promise you, I'm not out here trying to give everyone high scores. I promise you, because that's not how I work. But when I'm looking at Alisson, brother, like I said, the way we rely on this guy at times, I almost just feel he almost feels like he's getting pissed off. Like he almost feels like he's in a position like, bro, you man are pissing me off right now. Because every 2 seconds, 100%. I'm having to do worldy saves. I'm having to do the maddest saves to get us out of this situation. And then we might go for the other end and score and whatnot.
Don't you see his face whenever he makes a save? He's like, "What the fuck are you lot doing, bro?" Like,
I see. He looks vexed. he always looks vexed. But yeah, I would give him a. I'm good with a 9, but I don't know if Jerry thinks higher.
No, 9's calm.
Oh, okay.
Cool. Robert, he's been kind of injured, so I felt like it was a bit difficult to give him a score. But if you had to give him a score based on what he has done, what would you be giving him?
An 8. 7.5.
An 8. Jerry?
7.5. If you're going off games he's played this season, it would have been 8, but he's been injured most of the season. I'll go 7.
Yeah, I don't want to, because I can't judge a man who's been injured and he has played.
Would I give him an 8? I think man get excited with these ratings, man. An 8. An 8.
Man said 6.6.
At 6 point. Yeah, something like that, man. Like 6.5, 7.
Easy, bro.
Like 7 out of 10. He hasn't been outstanding. 8 is outstanding.
I never said he was.
An 8 is outstanding, though. An 8.
No, it's not, though, is it?
And 8 is an
No,
outstanding.
but 8 is
Hold
pretty
on.
good score. 8 is a pretty good score.
And 8. Hold on.
eight
If
is
Robertson got an 8 every if Robertson
Freezy
got
said,
an 8
name
every
one of
single
those
game,
8.
he'd be the best left back best left back in the league by far. And 8 out of 10 every single game. That's mad.
Yeah, bro. He's
8.
been okay. The only probably the game that had when he was actually outstanding was the Wolves game, which for me he was like 10 out of 10.
Yeah, he scored in that game.
So
that game was good.
Okay.
Yeah, that game was good.
So that game he was perfect. So obviously that game is perfect. So 10's perfect. 9's what? Near perfect. 8's outstanding.
No, I'll say 9 is outstanding.
So what's 8 then? Decent. You're going to tell me
8 is very
average.
good. 8 is very good.
Oh, all right. Like I said 7 for me, man.
I like I said 7.5. 7.5, man.
Okay. I feel like 7 is more of a reflection, but we're saying 7, 7, 7.5, 2 sevens. All right. Virgil, captain. El Capitan.
9.
He's been good this season.
All right. Virgil ain't 2019 Virgil, but he's Virgil of 21-22. He'll be showing that this season, man.
8 for me, 8.5, something like that.
I'd give him an 8. Yeah, I'm good. 8.5, 9. To be fair, because 9 is like what you're saying is like it's near perfect, which is what I feel like Ali has been. Do I think Virgil has been as good as Ali?
I think because he's even though Ali's been doing a lot of saving, low key, Virgil's been doing a lot of saving for us as well.
No, yeah,
no, but then
look,
the way that we defend at times, like I'm like, you're the leader in the back, captain as well. Sometimes you're looking a bit fugazi yourself, let alone having to clear. Which you're right, he is cleaning up for other people at times. People in the chat, man, let me know what's everyone saying.
I think the main thing I would say that I have a problem with is that you don't switch the player now. Like I think the one game that
I feel like he doesn't do much.
Bro, the Arsenal game, I think JJ would agree with me. The amount of times we saw like with Salah or Szoboszlai or Elliott when he came on, just free on the right hand side, he just wouldn't switch it for some reason. He just wanted to play that tiki taka with Endo and Alisson. It made me vexed. Like you got a man free, acres of space, and you just don't want to switch it, which you're known for doing. And now, man.
Yeah, it's do what it is. For me, look, 9 out of 10 was the season he was at, like when we won the league, innit? Like, of course, there was some mistakes. Like, no one's perfect. I can't give 10. I don't just give 10s willy-nilly. Is he at a 9 out of 10 again? I don't know. I don't think so. I look at the Newcastle game when he fouled Isak against Crystal Palace. Against Crystal Palace, let's be honest. We were there at the game, G. That should have been another pen. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, he's been good. But let's keep the level that he was at high. Let's not try to drag that season down because I think he was a 10 out of 10 in 10 out of 10 that season. He's an 8, man.
And in 21-22?
When we won the league.
Nah.
Oh, okay.
I've been so rude. Everyone keeps talking about, you see that year that we won the league? I don't even think Liverpool were even like at their best. I feel like 18-19 is when I saw Liverpool at their like ultimate peak Super Saiyan level. Whereas I feel like this, or Super Saiyan 2 level, whereas the following season I felt like we dropped down to Super Saiyan, but Super Saiyan was still strong enough to beat everybody else, kind of thing. Whereas we could literally hit that Super Saiyan 2/3 kind of level. Big up Assad, as much as you always talk nonsense at times, I hear this. Guys are overrating VVD this season though, because he was so bad last year. Man are acting like he's 2019 levels. I'd give him an 8 though. I'd give him higher than the 8, but I do agree with this. I do feel like because we were so bad last season, when we're seeing better this season, it's like we shoot everyone to the moon. Everyone is amazing now. Oh my God, he's at this level. Whereas I'm like, I don't even feel like half the players are even at that kind of level. I just think that they're just way better than they were last season. Because we were so shit last season.
That's why I say 21-22.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I can kind of, I'll say,
because 21-22 Virgil, even though he weren't the peak Virgil, that Virgil still, in my opinion, is world class.
Yeah. No, it is, of course, because Virgil's a world class defender. Near perfect is basically 9. I'll give it 8.5. That's it.
8.
He's been good. I definitely
8, yeah. 8.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. But like Matip's been at 8. Obviously, unfortunate that he's been obviously picked up that injury. And now he's obviously in this position where, looks like we won't be able to use him for the remainder of the season. But I think Matip's an excellent defender, man. I feel so sorry that this brother picks up these injuries that he does, because I honestly feel, don't take this out of context, but I feel like he'd be on par with like Van Dijk in terms of how we would be looking at defenders, because I feel like he can reach those kind of levels, so to speak. And what I mean by that is like, they'll be in the same group, but Van Dijk will just be at the top of the class, but they'd still be sitting in the same classroom. Just he'd be at the top of the class, and Matip would be somewhere a bit lower. But I genuinely believe Matip is such a hard. Yeah, like they're both in set 1, but Van Dijk is acing every single test. 100%, he's getting A's, A stars, whatever. Matip, hey, you know what I'm saying, a couple B's and that, you know what I mean? But he's keeping a B, maintaining a B though. He's maintaining a B, and you know what I mean? He's doing all right in that class. He ain't the dumb one. Well. Yeah, got a couple of A's in there. So yeah, I'm good with 8. Trent.
Yo, G, I'll let you do this, man.
I think he's been better than. I'm gonna lie. I think he's been better than Van Dijk. I think he's been that good this season.
I don't think he's been
I think he has. I think he has. I think if you go and look at statistically, I think if you look at the games that he's had to go and carry us, I think defensively he's been solid this season. Yes, there's been a couple of times where he's been skinned, but he's not like that great defender, in it. Like, but he's been much more focused this season. I think. Listen, boy. If we didn't have Trent, I don't even know where some of our goals are coming from, in my opinion. Like, he's just become everything now. He's having to invert. He's having to attack. He's having to defend. He's having to play the final pass. He's having to play the pass to the assist. He's having to do everything. Without him, I think if we had lost Trent right now, I don't really know what we do. Like having Tsimikas and Gomez out wide with, where's the creativity coming from?
So this is what we've seen this before. That's what stifling Szoboszlai's creativity, because of Trent. So we would just get that same creativity from Szoboszlai now, as opposed to having to use Trent in that kind of position, because we know that Szoboszlai can more or less do. I'm not saying all the passing and stuff like that, but in terms of the attacking side of things, I feel like Szoboszlai could easily make up those numbers, so to speak. So that's where I'm looking at. But what would you give him then in terms of a rating, if you had to give? Because if we're saying 9 is near perfect, and we didn't give Ali like a 9.5, are we saying that? Are you saying that? And we gave Virgil 8.5.
I don't think he's as good as Alisson, but I think he's been better than Van Dijk.
So what score would you give him then?
I would keep it at an 8.5 because I don't want to get into these mad like figures and stuff like 8.75 and all of that. Do you know what I mean? But I'll keep it as an 8.5. But I think
is it the same thing like what I was saying about Matip and Van Dijk, where they're in the same class, but you think Trent is getting the A's this time? Like,
I just think he is. I think if you go and look at the recoveries he's having to go and make, he's topping the things for passing. He's doing creative passes.
Yeah, but we're watching the games too, you know, Jerry. We're watching the games too, you know. Yeah. Forget even the stats. Remember, we were all watching the games. At time, you're just like, these Hollywood passes ain't even coming off.
No, they're not coming off. But that's what's been asked of him, though. Yes, a couple times, Klopp's getting annoyed. Like, why did you keep too many touches on the ball? That can happen in the game. Like, do you know what I mean? I've seen flipping Alisson talk to Van Dijk and be like, why weren't you there when he's had to go and make a save and stuff? We've seen him berate him. But this guy's having to go and do that, because without that, there's been nothing at times. There's been nothing. That's the requirement of him. We need you to switch the play. We need you to come inverted. We need you to go and win the ball quite high up. We need you to go and play the assist. Hey, it's a set piece. We need you to put a delivery in there. Like, he's actually doing everything if we think about it. Like, he is, like, right now, when we talk about systems, and you know Bobby was the system for a long time, Trent is now the system. So much so that Salah's doing touchline winger was doing that for beginning part of the season because of what Trent was doing when we had Szoboszlai. That's what Trent's done, and we're top of the league as a result of that. Like that's the way I'm looking at it. So I don't know. I go to 8.5 in it. I just put them on par, but I just think he's been better than Van Dijk, and I'm a Van Dijk stan as well. So,
Ram.
Do you know what? Going back to the analogy that we use of set one, he's the guy that usually gets A's, a couple of B's. He gets A stars, but he also has F's at the same time. Like
he had F's this season. F's.
He's had one F this season. One.
Yeah, so that's
disagree with the man's assessment, boy.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, fair. But no, we said F's. I was like, he hasn't had F's, but one game.
Okay, like, one F and then 2 D's. You know what I mean?
And then what do you think the rest he's had is A's?
Yeah, A's, a couple of A stars. You know, it's a weird one, isn't it? It's a weird.
Bro, what score are you giving Trent then? Because I'd like to hear what score is that.
8.5, isn't it?
No, I know you. What? Because that to me sounds. Go on. In fact, you speak. It's your.
I'll probably go. I'll go 8. Go with an 8.
You're going with 8. I went with 8 anyway. So yeah, I put him at 8. I'll give him an 8. That's the kind of score I gave him. I just felt like what Jerry said. I feel like is true in terms of where would that creativity and all that kind of stuff, where would it come from? But there, I don't know, like I almost feel like the downside to Trent has still reared its ugly head at times. Man definitely can't forget I got -1. Man definitely can't forget those first 3 or 4 games. Trent was at, like, making mistake after mistake after mistake. Then we didn't even see Trent get into his stride until really like a month or 2 ago, where yes, it has been a good month or 2 that he's had for the early part of the season. Weren't really seeing anything from Trent. Again, maybe that's just what he was being asked of him, but I didn't think it was enough. Like, I feel like Van Dijk would still work out to be a bit better. Moving on, Tsimikas. What are we saying for him, man? Obviously coming in, deputizing for Robbo. Now he's obviously injured. How do you think he's kind of done this season?
7 to be kind, in my opinion. Because start of the season, at Lask. Nah, man. Was it Lask? Was it the last game?
We did that watch along together.
Yeah. See.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
Like 7. He's been solid.
7's calm. Yeah, 7's calm, man. Like he's been, like I said, he's been calm. Like he hasn't been. A couple times he's been dead. A couple times he's been good.
Let's not forget, even though he's had this good run of form at the start, it was a little bit shaky, you know.
It was shaky, man. Man was saying we want him gone. We were saying play Gomez at left back. Remember, Ram, we were having a discussion saying, what do? We don't have a left back. You were saying, play Quansah there. You were like, play Quansah there. We don't want to see.
I didn't say Quansah. I said Chambers, bro. I said Chambers. I said Chambers. I said
no.
Chambers.
You said Quansah at the time. You said Quansah. You said let's play Quansah at left back. You even said it like they do.
No, don't do that, Jay. I said Luke Chambers, bro. Don't do that.
That's even worse. Chambers.
Why would I play a centre back?
I'm not playing any of them left back. I don't know. You man on some jokes. What, Chambers and Quansah left back? Well, we must be in the pits of hell.
I think we were, bro. People forget how bad he was at the start. I credit to him. He's pulled it back, but he was not good. He was bad.
Yeah, these men are throwing each other under the bus, man. That's
I never said Quansah at left back, bro. I said Chambers. I don't know. He's either both. I really don't want either of them. We were in the gutter at that point. But I say 7. You know what I mean?
And big up Readers and Jack. You guys have forgotten to start. That's what I'm saying. With some players, but man, don't forget that start of the season, you know. For some of these man, that start of the season wasn't popping. And Tsimikas was definitely not popping at the beginning. Even when he was coming in, some games here, some games there. I was like, brother, this brother looks shit. Obviously, he then got a run of games. And I felt like, yeah. Now he's steady. He's getting them steady performances in. Like, I could have got 6.5, really and truly. But
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was being kind. I said I was being kind.
Yeah. I could, yeah.
Recency
all right, well, I'll leave it at that. Yeah, literally recency bias. Jarrell Quansah. What are we giving him, man? Obviously, based off the games that he's played, what he's done.
8.
I'll say now. I'll give him. Yeah, that was literally the score I would have given him. It's like I'll give him an 8.
Yeah, same.
Do you know what? I think the Crystal Palace game was a bit shaky.
Yeah, we watched that game. We were like, "Yo, brother, I beg you." You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think there's one other game. He was playing on the right hand side. I think Virgil was next to him again. Just didn't look right. It didn't look right. I was like, "Yeah, you're on the left. You can't play right centre back when Trent is next to you, man. Like, you can't do it." So, yeah, I'll say 8. He's been solid, man. I give Quansah the credit, man. He's been good.
Big up Bayesian Reds TV in the
Big up.
building. Make sure you guys obviously head on over there and subscribe to their channel, please, please, please. Konate, Mr. Bozo himself. He hasn't had that many Bozo moments this season, so I'll give him that still. And he obviously had that monster game against Arsenal the other day that we're now putting Quansah in conversations that I didn't really feel like he needed to be in at this current moment in time, but he's here now.
I want to do recency
I'm saying
bias,
7
but
points.
I can't.
Nah, but there isn't even recency bias, Ram, because he's been injured for like however long for the season. I would say 7. Yeah, like a 7. I feel like it's good for him.
I would have put him at 8, but I was nah. Recency bias is too.
Nah, that one game against Arsenal can't shoot that thing.
No, sorry, I can't do recency bias like that, man. I can't. So I would have said 7.57.
What about you, Jerry? Same for Konate. Konate?
7.5 for Konate.
Oh my god! I beg JJ, don't do that, bro. Whole time we're at Liverpool, this guy. Oh my god! Have some chicken, man.
I'm just trying to make the squid. No.
Can I cook as well? What do you want, lad? You know what I mean? The whole time.
Roms always says it about Konate. It always looks like, I'm not even gonna say it because I'm not trying to get my channel put down. Roms ain't got a channel to be able to say these things. Gomez, last but not least, Mr. Resurgent man himself.
JJ, that's your boy, bro.
South London and them thing there. Come on.
8.
You know what? Yeah, when he's come on,
maybe an 8.5. Maybe an 8.5.
I'm kind of leaning towards 8.5. JJ, the times when he's come on off the bench, he's actually changed the game. He's actually made an impact in the game. Wolves, he changed the game. Arsenal, after that shaky start, man pocketed Saka. Like when he's come on and done his thing, boy, he's been good. I'm going 8. I'll go an 8. I could hear an 8.5 maybe.
I will go with.
Like, he hasn't done anything wrong in it. I can't even get on to him.
Yeah.
And he's had to cover everywhere. And he's been a 7 out of 10 everywhere. So if he's been a 7 out of 10, like every game, I need to pop up to like an 8, maybe an 8.5, depending on how you want to rate and take into consideration.
I think he's been, and this is what I was going to say about him and Trent. Is I feel like he's outperformed Trent this season, but obviously that's neither here nor there. But so guys, obviously you can see that's the ratings. They're done for the defenders this season. I mean, I don't really care about Keller, so I didn't put him on this list here. We gave Robbo 7, Van Dijk at 8.5, Matip an 8, Trent an 8, Tsimikas a 7, Quansah an 8, Konate 7.5, and Gomez a 8.5.
What's mad there before we do that is if you get up again, you see what I mean about if you can have a team full of 7s and 8s out of 10s, you're performing at a high level. Liverpool are top of the league, and when you look at those defenders, there's no one there below a 7.
Yeah, true. So this
there's no one there below a 7. If you can have 7s out of 10s every single game, you're performing at a high level every single game. Do you know what I mean? Consistency.
And this is what I asked, and this I'll ask you both before we head out, and I'll quickly go through some questions and then we'll bounce. Are we moaning for moaning's sake then? When we talk about Liverpool and the defense, because if we us three just sat here and we will all be critical 100%. And look at the ratings that we just gave everyone. We gave nobody lower than a 7. Nobody.
But are we critical?
And the brothers that we gave 7. Look at the brother that we gave 7. We gave Tsimikas and Robbo, 2 players who were both injured anyway.
But is
that what I'm saying?
All right? But are we criticizing the players, or are we criticizing the system that the players are playing in?
We're criticizing Klopp. Let's just call it for what it is.
Can we not do this, please? I ain't doing.
Like I said, I'm gonna be nice, guys. Big up, obviously, everybody in the chat. I'm just gonna quickly run through a couple questions that was posted out from before. Gagan Deep, Jerry and G, should LFC play a double pivot when Endo goes to the Asia Cup to make up for not having a natural DM and at times play counter-attacking football? We got the players in midfield and attack for it. Do not answer that question. Tomorrow when I do the midfield analysis, we will then go through that. Gagan Deep, big up your damn self. Don't worry, I will have this question ready to go. So once you jump in the chat, just let me know that you're in there and I will answer that question for you. I think there's another question. Assad, this is a dumb question because the answer to this question is we'll win more trophies than Chelsea this season. That is all I know, whether it's one or not. Neil Gunner, Curtis Jones, would you sell? Also, for how much? Also, how much is he worth? Ram?
I wouldn't sell Curtis Jones. 1, our homegrown Curtis stinks, and 2, he actually is very good. If I was gonna, what's it called? Put a transfer value on him. If you're looking realistically, it will be around about 45 to 50 mil.
45 to 50.
But because of that homegrown quota, because of homegrown quota, add a little premium on top of that because our homegrown quota stinks.
Wouldn't sell him. I think he's ceiling. He can be our best midfielder. I said it before. I said it. Start of the season.
Say what he was gonna say. What's the season? Say what he was gonna say. Okay.
I think he can be our best midfielder. That's the ceiling.
Okay, but what? Okay, but what's that like in terms of level?
That's a world class midfielder, like top midfielder.
I just needed to hear you say it so that we know that.
I said it. I said at the beginning of the season that I think Mick Jones will have a better season than Szoboszlai and McAllister. So far, there's an argument to say he is, bro. So I don't know, bro. Chat to me. Yeah. Really, chat to me. There's an argument to say he is.
Yeah,
easy,
man. Trying to hear all of that. Anyways, keep it level. What do you value Joey G at 40 to 50 million? I'll just ask the question. If you had to sell Joey, what's a price that you would accept? Realistic prices, please.
50.
Jerry?
$50.
People say why 50? I tell you.
Yeah, I was going to say why 50.
I'll answer again. Name me a player defender in the world that can play right back, centre back, and left back to a decent level. He's a unicorn in that sense. Stop it, JJ.
Ezri Quansah can.
Oh, Quansah. I think he said Quansah. I was like, bro, stop it.
Quansah, Ezri Quansah from Charlton as well. Can.
What you think? You think what? You think what about Quansah?
Ezri Quansah can play right back, centre back, and I think he can play left back as well.
Left back, I'm not too sure about. I think Joe Gomez is proven. Gomez is proven that he can play left back.
Yeah, but for me, if you can play right back, you can play left back. Like, he's not. Yeah, no, but you can. He's not Quansah's not no offensive right back doing swazzy passes and stuff.
I don't know.
What do you mean? I don't know. But you play there, bro. You play there,
because any right back can play left back, and we've seen it. It don't work.
Where does it not work?
Name me a right back. Name me a right back. Just any old right back that can play left back at the same time.
Cancelo, Coleman could do it.
No, Coleman couldn't do it.
Yes, he could do it. He's done.
A right back who can play left back.
Joao Cancelo.
Cancelo. Yeah, Cancelo is the
Cancelo. Yeah, I'll give you that.
Danilo done it. Like, what happens if your team? Hold on. If your team's got abundance, let's say they've got 2 right backs and your left backs are out here. Trippier. What are we talking about? Of course you can. If you can play right. Listen, I'm not saying you're going to be as effective or as good because, of course, a left-footed on the left-hand side offers you a different dynamic. But Joe Gomez isn't as effective going forward as Robertson going at left back, but he can do it.
Okay. Let me switch this again. Let me switch this again. Name me a right back. Well, Ezri Quansah is not a right back, he's a centre back, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So it's a lot difficult when you're a centre back playing at left back. You know what I mean?
Cole will be able to do it.
Can he play right back though?
He hasn't done it, but he's playing.
But listen, play right back though. I feel like I don't know if Cole could play right back.
What do you think? Do you think Cole hasn't got the ability of Joe Gomez on the ball? That's the only is that what you're telling me? Because that's the only counter that you could go and say to playing on the other side is that you can't use your your stronger foot on the outside if you're a right back or left back.
Another player, I don't know, but other player with the name is.
But no, we haven't seen it, which is fair. That's what I'm saying. When Ram said we haven't seen it, that's fair. I admit we haven't seen it, but I'm not like I can easily just go and say if you can play at right back, you can play on the left back. Like Walker could do it. You think Kyle Walker couldn't go and play left back for City if they needed it?
Oh yeah, he easily could. I feel like he could easily do it. But that's because we've seen him play multi positions though. So I'm like, okay, I've seen him play
that's
more
because you're playing for teams that go and do it. Emery's doing that now. If you go and look at Quansah was playing right back. Quansah had never played right back before.
But when I say is, I think any old right back. I need to switch it again. I think any old right back can do it, but I think a centre back that's been moved to right back can't do it.
But why not?
Because
that's what I'm asking. No, but the only argument I could hear that is if you said, because the player's so one-footed and so uncomfortable on the ball that they couldn't do it at left back. My argument is
okay. So do you think Konate could play left back?
No, because I don't think he's as comfortable on the ball. That's my point. That's what I'm saying.
I think
the players I spoke about, I said Levi Cole, I've said Quansah, I've said Walker. They're more comfortable on the ball, and I'm not saying they're going to be as effective, but they can do it. Cole's doing it at left back now, like he's doing it. Dizazi, who ain't comfortable at all, is playing at right back. That's my point.
But JJ, the thing is, right, the way I see it. When you're a left back, and the reason why I keep saying about the two ACLs is that you need to have some element of agility and balance to be able to run with the ball and also cut onto your right foot so you can whip the ball in and do whatever you want when you're inverting. Yeah. I don't think centre backs have that agility or balance like a trained right back does. If you know what I mean.
Nah. See, I disagree because from playing, you're looking at right backs and left backs are usually not as big as centre backs, right? So they're going to have a lower centre of gravity that's going to aid your agility. Joe Gomez isn't the biggest centre back, hence why
but he's always been agile even when he was younger.
Sorry, when he was at Charlton, he was explosive, but he was mad bulky. I remember watching him at Charlton. I've played like he wasn't. Listen, it was PMP. It was PMP.
Oh, he was PMP. Goals, but he could still shift it off, shift it from right to
goals,
left.
I'm telling you, in goals it was PMP. I'm telling you now, playing left back, the only argument you could have is the fact that he ain't got when the ball comes to him and he opens it up on the back foot, you can't play it with your left foot because you're uncomfortable. Then you're having to cut back inside on your move. Carragher played that left back. What are we talking about? Jamie Carragher played that left back for Liverpool. What are we talking about?
Nah, JJ, was it good though?
No, but that's my point. You're asking for some mad comfortable. Let's don't get it twisted. Joe Gomez is more comfortable on the ball than Carragher. Hence why I'm saying. Hence why the players I picked were Levi Cole. That's a player that's comfortable on the ball. Joe Gomez, that's a player that's comfortable. That's more comfortable on the ball. I haven't picked Konate. Haven't gone to pick Carragher. I haven't picked flipping Dizazi. But if you can go and play at right back, if you've got the agility to go and play at right back because your team's played you there, you can play on the left. The only problem you've got now is are you comfortable enough to use your left foot more often than not? And because what happens is you're cutting inside a lot of the time because do you know what I mean? Like if you look at Verge cuts in on his right foot a lot of the time because he wants it on his right foot. Hence why we come very narrow. He doesn't play a switch with his left as much.
Then another question you got to ask is whether that centre back / right back is technical enough to play where there is.
But that's my point. If a Quansah,
I guess that would be.
That's what I'm saying.
Is Ezri Quansah that technical enough to play as a left back? You think?
As a right back, he can do it as a left back. Trust me, he can. Watch Quansah. I'm telling you, to watch Quansah. He's that type of centre back. As in, he could go and Ake is a great example. Ake could play right back. Akanji's played left back and right back.
But
I'm telling you, players now that are comfortable. Huh?
Ake's a bit different because he's quite small. He's quite short.
That's my point. So when you're talking about the agility situation, you're talking about height and strength as opposed to ability. So the agility is not going to be as good as someone that's mad small. It's like when you compare Cannavaro or Alaba to a Virgil van Dijk. Like it's a completely different situation because they're taller. They're not going to be able to be as agile.
But then I come back to the technical ability, King, because Alaba can play as a left back. I don't think Cannavaro has technical ability
because he's small and he's left-footed. Alaba,
but he had the technical ability, JJ.
Yes, but he was a left back. As in, that's where he played. Isn't he's just comfortable enough that when they're keeping possession, Bayern can slap him into. He played in midfield. You're talking about players now that are of a high. I'm saying you're expecting Joe Gomez. Joe Gomez isn't like Alaba at left back.
Oh,
he's not.
I never said he
was.
That's
my point.
I never said
That's my point. He can do a job. So when we're talking about, for me, a centre back that can do a job at left back, if your centre back is good enough, or you think that in our system you can go and play at right back, him playing at left back wouldn't be a problem. Who's another one that could go and play right back? Ben Godfrey from Everton. That was at Norwich. He can play left back and right back. That's that's what I'm saying. It's not as outlandish as we're talking. That's what I'm saying. It's not as outlandish as we're talking about.
So then, JJ, why can't left backs play right back?
Because left backs, predominant majority of the time, are very 1 foot dominant and don't work on their left foot. When they do, of course they can. But that's what it is.
I will attest to that as a left foot. Using right foot is a myth.
Whereas with your right foot, whereas with your right foot, it's like, you're always like, can you use your left foot? With a left foot, I've never heard do it on your weak foot. They just do everything with their left foot.
No. We're not doing nothing on our.
And at the same time, it's a rarity. Like
I was about to say,
so you don't have as many left footers. So why would you in any given time go and sacrifice having a left footer? Do you know what I mean? Not playing on the left, but playing on the right. Do you know what I mean? Like, who just wouldn't do that?
You got to remember, I played in a team where I was the only left-footed player. Bearing in mind, I played left wing. So what about the left back and the guy who's playing up front on the left-hand side? Like, it's just one of those kind of things where it's a rarity and there is no one else. So that guy who's playing left mid or in another team who is right-footed has to learn almost to play with that left foot kind of thing. Whereas I'm the only left footer. So it's like, I'm the only one in the team. So I can just play my left back, left wing, left up, for whatever position, and no one's really gonna, you know what I mean? But we could go.
I'll tell you now, Ram. You have to remember as well. These players are playing football every single day, like every single day. You're trying to tell me that what? We're not talking about some like Sunday league brother that's only played right back. You're talking about a player that if you can play right back, you're applying what you're doing to the left-hand side. Now, yes, your body position is not this way. If you want to show him outside, it might be that way. But those are things that you'd have to learn. It's like a centre-back. Are you trying to tell me a centre-back can't play on the left-hand side of the fence?
JJ,
because what?
Can't I say the same thing about a left-footed player that can work on his right foot?
Yeah, how many left-footed players do you know that work on their right foot like that?
That's a rarity in itself. I don't even
Salah,
know if any
Salah, Robin, Van Persie, they were all just, I'm getting on my left foot and I'm wrapping it. Like that Podolski, like left footers are just known for having left foot.
Forgot about Podolski. Forgot about Podolski still. Listen, before let me even close out.
You know I'm true, but you're trying to fight it. You're trying to fight it.
Ousmane Dembele.
But he's someone who can just use both feet. Though. Yeah, he's just someone who can use both feet.
I give you an example and you say he's ambidextrous.
No, but of course he is. Like that's like name me another Ousmane Dembele, someone that's equally as good on his left as he's on his right. You don't know what foot he is.
Santi Cazorla. But then I feel like Santi Cazorla is right-footed.
He is
just
right.
Can use his left foot.
Exactly.
Like, yeah. No,
Dallow's one. Dallow's another one.
He can't
play centre back.
No. He can't. We say that, but then Emerson couldn't play centre back until they did, and they're 1 point behind.
Emerson can't play centre back, JJ.
But they're 1 point behind Arsenal. They're 1 point behind Arsenal. So clearly
you don't even rate Arsenal.
No, I don't. Ben Davies another one. He can play.
But he can't play right back. He can't play right back there, JJ.
Go and watch Swansea back in the day. You know, I'm going to get the game.
Swansea back in the day.
I'll send you the game.
I'll send you the game. Right back, JJ. Stop it. No, you cannot. You're not telling me Ben Davies.
You realize you might not arguing about Ben Davies, you know. Anyways, Beja's asking you both: are you two going to apologize about Endo?
Oh, I already apologized.
I didn't grill him. I never grilled him.
JJ sat on the fence with him.
Big up with yes. When I do the attacking one, I'll like close it out with Jurgen Klopp. So yeah, guys, please make sure you obviously stay tuned for this weekend, and obviously stay tuned for tomorrow's show where we'll be looking at the midfield. I know that's the one that everybody's bloody waiting for because that's the one that we grill the absolute most. Obviously, I don't know if Jerry wanted to speak on this, but I'll just quickly touch on this as we close out the show. Myself and Jerry, we decided let's take our football chats, to the studio. But not just football chats, just general kind of talks. It won't be just Liverpool based. You know what I mean? We'll be talking all about football and various, potentially different aspects of the game and things like that. The YouTube channel, let me just put that in the chat right now. Make sure you guys head on over to our YouTube channel because we're going to be doing live shows over here on the pitch. Hopefully, we've got our first episode coming real soon, and I'm talking within the next week or two. But obviously, of course, you guys, please make sure you head on over to the pitch. I put it there in the chat already. Make sure you bloody well subscribe to myself and Jerry's new channel. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun doing these live shows. Talking about a few things. We've got a few ideas that we've kind of already pitched up together. No pun intended. So yeah, please make sure you guys head on over to the pitch and smash that subscribe button. There's over 20 of you in here. I'll keep it a buck. I'm expecting over 20 subscribers by the time I close out this show. We're not asking for much, obviously, just to support the thing, just like you guys will support the Ram Stand, just like you support the Jerry James Show, just like you support my channel as well. Please just head on over to the Pitch Debate and make sure you obviously subscribe to the channel. Big up, keep it level. This actually makes me laugh. Great stream, G, in a bit, you negative git. I absolutely love that. And I love you, man. Big up everybody for 2024. Ram, Jerry, you guys got anything you want to say before we obviously close out?
Talk about Joshua Kimmich tomorrow.
We can talk about Joshua Kimmich tomorrow.
We'll do that. And for me, like I said, the pitch is going to be very, very interesting, man. Very, very different scope on certain things. It's going to be a different dynamic. It's going to be in studio as well. So make sure we're heading over there and subscribing. I don't want to speak for G. Well, actually, I'll speak for G on this one. We'll be very appreciative if you can subscribe straight off the bounce. I'm going to be very, very kind of very brazen with it. I'm going to be bold. I want 1,000 subs before we do the first video.
Well, you've got over 1,000, if not 2,000. I can't remember what you're on now. I've got up to close to 1,000. I'm pretty sure all of the subscribers should just be going over there. All I'm asking is just to subscribe, I didn't ask for no money from you, man. You know what I'm saying? I ain't your cousin who ain't seen in weeks and who's asking you for 2 bills. I'm just saying, go over to the channel and just go and subscribe real quick to the pitch. And yeah, obviously, guys, please make sure you stay tuned for tomorrow. I think I'll probably do it around about 5:30 again. I'll see what both Ram and Jerry ends. Whoever's obviously available, see what time these guys are free. We'll chat about the midfield. I know that one's going to be a long one because I already know everyone's got their defense in it and everything for certain players. So make sure you guys obviously stay tuned, stay blessed. Happy New Year to everybody who's obviously tuned in, and we are